Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to yet another podcast. We have so much to cover for you guys today. It's that time of the year. The holidays are coming up, and we just realized we kind of got caught up in a spot where we had so much to catch up on, and we want to push all this content out to you guys before Christmas hits especially. But we got to cover Thanksgiving. We got to cover Black Friday. I had a couple work trips. Whatever the hell you've been doing, Tommy, because you've been off the map and off the radar. I feel like we haven't podcasted in a couple weeks now.
It has been. It feels like forever. It really does.
But you know what? It's been a good thing because I think in the last few weeks, like we've been kind of like doing our own thing. We've like experienced. I know I've been out of town, dude. You're like, hey, let's podcast. I'm like, hey, I'm over here. I'm over there.
Yeah. But it's cool, man. Like it's fun. We always pick up where we just left off. You've done some work trips. I've been moving. Just dealing with different junk, work's been crazy, working late nights, coming home late, but you know what, it's all good in the hood, man, and I'm just glad to be here.
Dude, how was your Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving was great, man. So Thanksgiving, what did I do? Thanksgiving, nothing. I sat at home like a loser. Just kidding. No, we actually drove out to my sister's place in Menifee, or I'm sorry, my sister's parents' place in Menifee. Our family had a beautiful Thanksgiving, tons of food. It was great. We had a great time. Typically, we do we'll do one party at our parents' house, and then we'll go to my wife's side of the family. But it seems like nobody was doing anything on her side of the family, so we just went out there to Menifee and had a great time. Had great food. Got to hang out with the family, kiss some babies, and we had a blast. It was
doing the Lord's work, bro.
Huh?
You were just doing the Lord's work.
We're doing the Lord's work, man. You know, it's hey, if no one else is gonna do it, I'll do it, right? Got to step up to Shoot Pavilion there, man. But no, man, we had a great time and ate a lot of good food. Wish I would have taken food to go with us. Being married to a Filipino, when you go to one of their parties, which we didn't get to this year, they send you over 13 plates of food home, so you have food for the month. But yeah, man, it was great. It was kind of quiet, just chill, nothing too off the hook. But yeah, we had a great time. How about you?
Well, I wanted to ask you: is the Filipino Thanksgiving feast? Is there any traditional dishes like there are with your traditional American, where we're gonna have the stuffing, or
it's pretty much the same, to be honest.
They're making the same food.
It's pretty much the same food,
foods?
But they have their dishes. I don't know what they're all called. One major big difference usually at those parties is what they call lechon. Lechon is a huge pig.
Oh, okay.
And it's like all cooked up. And, the uncle's out there. He has a huge machete.
Oh, I thought you were talking about you.
No. Yeah, I was a piglet for sure. But they have usually a full pig that's on the countertop. And somebody's got a machete and he's just hacking the shit out of this. Which one you want? The ear? You want the belly?
You saw him hack it up, or did they just bought it?
It's not as bad as I make it sound, but there wasn't a party this year, and they didn't have a lechon. But usually every single gathering, there's a lechon pig, and they're just out there just hacking the hell out of it. And by the end of the day, that thing is just bare bones, dude. Everybody takes a little piece home.
Dude, my Thanksgiving this year was different than any Thanksgiving I think that I've ever had. Every year.
Well, where did you celebrate Thanksgiving?
In Utah.
So
every year, dude, we're here in Bellflower at mom and dad's house, or we're in Menifee, or we're in wherever. But we're always with the family here.
Right.
And I'm just thinking it'd be kind of cool to go on a road trip. It'd be kind of cool to go do something.
I know I wanted to go with you, but it was too last minute.
The thing was, okay, so at the wedding, at Danny or Michelle's wedding, I saw Danny.
Danny's our cousin, by the way.
And Danny and his wife and his son, B, they moved out Brandon. So shout out B. They moved to Utah last year. And
they used to live 2 minutes from me in Huntington.
Yeah, they weren't far. But they at the wedding were like, you guys should come out and visit us. You know, we're still like we've been out there for like a year now.
Utah's beautiful.
Yeah, dude, it was like I'm gonna just start from the beginning, dude, because there was like
Tarantino.
Yeah, dude, there was so much like experiences, but so it was so much because like the week before it was like super busy, and you're like, hey, yeah, I kind of want to go on a road trip too, and you're like. But you were like just texting me like one text after the next, dude, and you're like, "Hey, what's up? You going on a road trip? Hey, when are we leaving?" And then I was like, "Dude, I was at work like stressing out, dude, like just trying to get stuff done." And I hadn't planned anything, you know?
Yeah,
and
I'm a big planner. You're like, "All right, let's go."
But I still get stuff done. So it was like the morning before Thanksgiving. I finally said I need to figure out this road trip.
Right.
Bella and I knew that we were going to both have 4 days off. And we're like, let's do something with that time off because she's working every day. But we go on a lot of trips just because, but it always has to be planned. This one was just, we both found out we had the days off. We're like, dude, let's go on a road trip.
Mm-hmm.
So the morning before Thanksgiving, I text Danny. I'm like, I'm going to take him up on what he said. He's like, oh, yeah, you should come out and visit. I'm like, all right, let's see if he says yes. I said, hey, Danny, can I come out there tomorrow? And he's in Utah now, close to Salt Lake City. I'm like, hey, is it cool if we drive out there for Thanksgiving?
And how far of a drive is that?
Well,
5 million miles?
When you look on a map.
It's like 12 hours.
Yeah, you look on a map, and it looks like, oh, you're just cutting through Vegas.
It's just a fingernail over, dude.
You're like,
good.
You're just going to cut through Vegas. You're just going to keep going. And then I didn't ask him for his address until right after that. After I text him, after I text him, can I come out there for Thanksgiving? It was like the morning before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So one day before. And he says, yeah, definitely. Do you think you'll be here by dinner? I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm going to leave in the morning and I'll just be there in Utah by dinner.
For sure.
And I was like, what's your address? And I'm not thinking, okay, so you got California, Nevada, and then Utah. And then he sends me his address. I punch it in, and it's like on the very upper right-hand corner of the state. You know, so it's like near Salt Lake City. It's just like, okay, that's like driving all the way through California, through Nevada, and like just way, way down the 15, you know, just all the way up through Utah.
It's up there.
And I look it up and it says, okay, it's going to be a 10-hour drive. So I'm thinking, she's going to get off work at like midnight because she's at her second job and she makes she was making Thanksgiving packages for people and they sell them at her work. So she gets off at like midnight, and I was like, okay, so I'm going to pick you up, and I'm just going to start driving, tonight, basically, because it's that day.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm going to start driving tonight. We'll be there in the morning by 10 o'clock. I'm thinking like exact time. I'm going to be there at exactly 10 o'clock if I leave at exactly midnight. So I am thinking after I get off work today, I need to go home, take a nap, you know what I mean, and just get ready for this long drive through the night.
Yeah.
So I get off. I actually leave a little early, like around 4. And I should have just known that I was just going to have to sit through about 2.5 hours of traffic to get home. Because it's just this rush, dude.
2.5 hours?
2.5 hours. The only other time I've seen traffic that bad was...
Christ.
Yeah, the only other time was, I think, when it was on election night. It took me about 2.5 or 3 hours to get home.
Wow.
Yeah, and luckily I made it to the poll booth on time.
I would freaking throw myself off a bridge if it took 2.5 hours of traffic.
Yeah,
I hate traffic.
It was bad, dude.
Driving,
it was bad, and I was tired, and I just wanted to take a nap, dude, because I knew I was going to have to wake up. So I do get home, and I knock out, and then I wake up at, like, midnight, and she's calling me. Like, hey, are you here to pick me up? I'm like, crap, dude, I haven't even packed.
So you're such a procrastinator.
Dude, I know. I haven't even packed at this point. So I get up, dude. I have one backpack. I throw in, like, 3 shirts, some pair of pants. I know it's going to be freezing, dude. It's going to be, like, 40 degrees.
For sure.
That was, like, one thing I did do was, like, look up the weather. And
did you grab your Mormon Bible before you left? Or?
Dude, we're going to get to that. But I just packed last minute, and then for some reason, I laid back down on the bed.
Oh, big mistake.
That's just asking for it, dude. I'm just
sure
like,
is.
just a quick 5 minutes.
Just real quick.
I think I woke up at 2 in the morning.
Oh, my God.
And she's texting me like, hey, I'm just getting ready now. I'm just ready now. Hey, I just took a shower. I'm just waiting. And keep in mind, so she had to work that second job. She also has to work. She had to work her regular job that day. Uh-oh. And now she's at home packing. She got up at 6 in the morning that that
it's
day.
It's a long day for her, too.
So she's been up for like 18 hours, and she's just planning on sleeping.
Poor thing.
Yeah, dude. I got there to her house at like 3 in the morning.
Shout out to Bella.
I slept. I get there at like 3. Her mom comes to the door. She's like, Bella's just like half dead. She gets in the car. She knocks out like that. So I start driving. I get to State Line, and I'm tired. This is like an hour away from Vegas at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Traffic.
Was that 4 hours? About 4 hours?
It was about, that night, it was probably about 4 hours. Yeah, 3.5 or 4 hours.
You have a bunch of coffee and...
I stopped. I planned on taking a nap again, another 2 hours. I knocked out, and then she wakes me up. She's hungry. So we get breakfast, and then we kick off the drive again. At this time, it's probably 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm getting texts from Danny. Hey, where you guys at? You guys almost here? Because remember, I was going to get there at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
And now I still have another 6 hours to drive. So if it's 9 o'clock, dude, and I got to get there dinner.
See you at dinner.
Dinner's at 4:30, and on top of that, there's an hour time change where I'm losing an hour.
And you know Christy makes some bomb food.
Dude, she does. So at this point, I fill up with gas at State Line. I drive just straight as long as I could. And thankfully, she's not one of those girls that has to go to the bathroom every 15 minutes. So we made, I think...
took some crystal meth.
One stop, dude.
What's up for 9 days?
Dude, one stop to get gas. And we stopped in Utah, and I think gas was like $2.30. Dude, and we went in there. I went into the convenience store to get coffee, because every time we stopped, I get coffee or I get like a Monster.
No
or
caffeine.
whatever. Huh?
No caffeine?
No, with caffeine.
Okay. No, I thought Mormons didn't have caffeine. Anyways, go ahead.
No, they have special things in Utah, to cater that, but I had everything caffeinated. And
Got it.
the guy that was working in there, because it was like just the most random exit to this gas station, and this gas station just had an abundance of fill stations, whatever you call it, where you just park and fill your gas. We were the only ones there. I walk into the convenience store, and the guy that was working the counter could have just been a cutout cardboard guy, because he was just standing there like Frankenstein, just not moving. I paid for the stuff. Thank you. Have a good day.
That's why he works at a gas station.
Dude, but there's just miles and miles and miles of, honestly, some of the most beautiful land you will see, and some really interesting stuff that I saw on the drive up there was like this giant hole. It was like this giant landfill filled with broken down cars. I thought it was like the coolest thing to see. And then, dude, so we finally get there at, I think, 15 minutes before dinner's going to start. We get there a little after 4. And we get in there. Danny's there, Brandon, Christy. They had like her aunt. They had some of their family friends and everything like that. Danny's friends were all there. His like RC car friends. And so Christy had just cooked everything. Just every potato variation.
She's such a good cook.
They had just the ham, the turkey, the stuffing. What's the sliced the berry? It's like canned cranberry. Yeah, sliced cranberry, which I really like. That stuff is like a hit or miss for a lot of people.
I don't like that
because it comes in different variations. But I like the cheap canned kind where it's like just sliced. Like it's like a little loaf.
Cranberry vodka.
It's like a little loaf, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
And as it's coming out. Yeah, dude. But I like that stuff, dude. But it was like I was
never into that.
I was like a stuffed fat pig, dude. It was actually really delicious. So we had never really I've never been out to Utah. Yeah. So I didn't know
what to expect, really.
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect. But when I got there, dude, I went out to his backyard, and you could see about every 100 yards was like a cross. It was like Mormon church, 100 yards, Mormon church.
Oh, they're like Starbucks.
Mormon church.
They're on every corner.
Dude, it was insane. And they're all white people. And we went on like a little cruise, like that evening, or it could have been the next morning, where Danny's like, come on, I got to show you where all the polygamists live. So it was like this other side of town, which was like certain, I guess,
Polygamous, that's...
just sex or marriage with multiple women.
Oh, they have like 10 wives?
Yeah, women with multiple men, I think.
Lucky bastards.
But we were only planning on staying one night, dude, and they were just really welcoming, like, hey, you guys should stay for an extra night. And because the first day, we weren't awake for more than, we got there at 8, and we were tired. You know, just from the drive, it was just
8
so
p.m.?
exhausting. Huh?
8 p.m.
8 p.m. what?
You said you got there at 8?
No, we got there right before dinner at like 4:30.
Oh, okay.
At 4:15, 4:30, and gotten there in time for food and dinner and dessert. And we ate, and then it was just like watch some TV. But the next day, we went to bed early, so they were gonna like try to play a movie and everything. They were trying to find Wedding Crashers, and we couldn't find it. The next day, they're like, "Hey, you guys should stay an extra night." Now this is Black Friday, you know, day after Thanksgiving, and we've all seen Black Friday in Los Angeles.
African American Friday.
Yes.
Let's be grammatically correct here.
We've seen Black Friday. We know what Black Friday is here.
It's crazy.
It's a madhouse. I mean, you almost just don't go anymore. You know, that's why they have Cyber Monday, because you see the videos on Walmart, people stampeding each other, killing each other for a DVD player. Or
They're like, this is $19 off this TV. I gotta get it.
It's like
I'd rather pay more
savages,
and not
dude.
deal with that
Savages. You wake up so early to get 10% off.
I was
whatever.
standing in line for 13 days, dude, and I got $6 off that DVD.
Yeah,
Like,
just some losers. But I can't even tell you the difference of Black Friday in Utah, because these are just all nice Mormon families.
Like, excuse me, sir. Oh, pardon
Dude,
me.
we went to Target out there, and I saw like they had like these sick V-necks. I'm wearing one right now, and they're like $6 a pop.
That's a nice V-neck.
So I was like, dude, I'm gonna go load up on V-necks right now. We go to Target, dude, and I'm looking at all the electronics. I'm looking at clothes. She's shopping. She's doing Christmas shopping. Everyone goes, the whole family, and everyone was so nice. Everyone was just super polite. No one was running each other over.
It's a lot different from LA.
Dude, it was amazing. And then after that, we're like, let's go grab some lunch. We went and got some like fusion Korean barbecue or whatever. It was actually Brandon's suggestion. So he's like, dude, you guys gotta try this out. And Danny's like, all right, well, we'll check it out. And it ended up actually being really good, dude. But so we ate there. And then that night, they wanted to take the light rail system. They have like it's called Trax. And they wanted to take it out to Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
So we jump on this light rail. And it's like an hour. And it's like an hour ride.
Mm-hmm.
And we get out there, dude, and we see the Joseph Smith Memorial. Mm-hmm. We see like all these crazy, just like it was just like these big Mormon buildings. I don't know how else to describe this. It was like
Utah is known for Mormonism.
It's the center of their congregation. Everyone's just really nice. We went in there. I really enjoyed it, and I have an open mind. So it's like, just go in there, check it out. You know, they have statues of like Joseph Smith and everything like that. And they had like a whole, what's it called when it's like Jesus in the manger, and then the whole setup, and you can see like all the wise men, but it was like
the nativity
scene, yeah. And they had that out there. Christmas lights galore, just more lights than you've ever seen in your life, dude. It was absolutely incredible. Probably one of the most beautiful cities I've ever seen. And then to top it off, they were like, hey, let's go to this rooftop restaurant. And that's literally what it's called, rooftop restaurant.
They're like, we're going to convert you right now.
Dude, it was so funny. Like, there was a couple jokes like that, like especially during the Thanksgiving dinner, because they had what was called Mormon Jello, which is like that green Jello with the chunks of, I think, cream cheese in it.
Chunks of Mormon Bibles in there?
Dude, it was delicious. I ate so much. And then when we were at the Joseph Smith Memorial, dude, I was drinking out of one of the fountains, the fountain water, and it was like the coldest fountain water I've ever had. And Danny's like, yeah, that's Mormon water. And he's like, it's extra cold. It was like, dude, it was delicious. But we get to that rooftop place, dude, and the food was just like, it was amazing.
Was there a good like view?
Yeah. It was all glass windows. And
what was the view of? Like the mountains and stuff? Or
no, it was just the city. So it was like all the lights and just overlooking everything that
anything rooftops always fun.
Yeah. Dude, it was tight.
Nice.
But yeah, dude, that was probably the best part. The going back, the drive back was horrendous.
Hell.
And I know, like, you're going to touch on the man night, because Saturday, which was the day we came back, so we spent the night Friday, and then we're like, okay, we're going to leave first thing Saturday morning, and then I want to go to this, we had one of our man nights with all of our buddies. We're all meeting up, And I'm thinking, like, I could do the drive back in the same time that I got up there. And I think I'm being all slick because I'm saying, okay, I'm leaving on a Saturday. Everyone that's traveling for Thanksgiving is leaving on a Sunday. And I think I'm being all slick, just trying to get out of there. Dude, I kid you not.
Were you using Waze or?
I was using Waze. But really, there's no other way to go about it because you got to take the freeway.
Right.
You know, and the 15's the only way back, you know, from where we were. And the trouble came, you know, we left at 9 in the morning, and I'm thinking I'm going to get back by 6, you know, maybe 7, because I'm going to get an hour back. You know what I mean? So I'm leaving at 9 o'clock their time, 8 o'clock local time here. And I think by the time I got to State Line, going through Vegas was about just 2 hours. And just sitting in traffic, moving inches at a time.
Ugh.
Everyone's leaving. It was horrible, dude. And she wasn't sleeping through this one where I was just listening to podcasts and stuff. It was like kind of a nice cruise in. She was awake, and you know, I'm playing my podcast and she wants to play her music, and it's just like such a long drive, and I'm like, dude, this is just going way too long. And I was getting like cabin fever in my car, you know, and sitting in like, because if I'm just moving in traffic, it's cool. But if you're sitting there, like after a half an hour, dude, it's terrible.
It sucks.
And imagine hour 2, and hour 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7. And I didn't get back in time for man night at whatever it was, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Mm-hmm. I got back at 10:30 at night. It sucked, man. It was like the worst drive ever.
Damn.
But it was still fun. Like the trip was well worth it. Like we had honestly like a blast. I would definitely go back to Utah. I feel like there was still a lot to see. You know, like there was just Salt Lake City alone. I think we were just on one side of the town. You know, so we didn't get to see everything. We didn't get to see all of Utah, but we drove through the whole state. Mm-hmm. You know, from the southwest corner to the northeast. So we really got to see a lot of the state and a lot of the landscape, and everything is just so spread apart. You know, it's not California at all.
Right.
And shooting through Nevada, of course, you've been to Vegas, you know what that looks like. But yeah. It was cool, man. So, dude, tell me how Man Night went.
Well, since you missed Man Night, dude, it was a blast. So, just kind of backing the story up, we have a good group of guys. We probably mentioned on a different podcast. And, you know, once a month we try to put together one night where all of us good buds can just get together, just hang, shoot the shit, talk about, like, what's going on in our life. Like, it's awesome, you know, and we kind of all spread apart. We're all in different cities and stuff, but we try to agree on one night where we can just make it happen. And the Man Night that we had planned, it changed, like, 6 different places. So to accommodate everybody, we ended up landing on one place. So we ended up landing on this place called Barcode in Garden Grove or Garbage Grove, whatever you call it. And it was such a weird place because it looked like a dude that was like super into video games had designed this place. So it's got all kinds of old like Nintendo games.
That's tight.
Yeah, like old, just old games all over the place. Yeah. He had made like this whole wall out of like, what are those floppy disks? He like made this like whole thing, like this whole wall out of different kind of floppy disks, and it spelled the bar's name. It was rad, dude. And like he had like little old stations where you can like go and like have like a little corner with you and your friends, and you could play the video games that are on there. And they had
old Nintendo and Super Nintendo.
Yeah. So they were playing like Smash Brothers and stuff. Yeah. And you know, they had craft beers, good food. It was a rad time. We had a blast. And then you know, it started getting towards like, you know, a little bit later, and we're like, you know, we're on a main street. Why don't we just go check out another place? Yeah. So we go across. And we passed these 2 old ladies, like I'm talking old gray hair. Yeah. We're like, hey, like, where's it happening right now? Mm-hmm. And they're like, because we started walking down the block and it was starting to get dark. And we're like, is there any more bars out here? Yeah. And then these ladies are like, you gotta go check out this place, and it's called da 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 da. And it was like this little Mexican place. Mm-hmm. We walk in there, and there's like 50 old couples. They're all gray hair. They're like looking at us, and there's like 10 of us guys. We're like, damn, you know, we're just there to party. And then they're like, you guys need to go to the bar. So like we walked past all these old people, and then there's like this saloon door.
Uh-huh.
And we walked towards the saloon door, and we're like, all right, cool, this is where it's at, and it's just all a bunch of conservative people. And then so we ordered a pitcher. It's like $3 or $4 for a freaking pitcher of like Bud Light or something, Coors Light.
Yeah.
So we just chilling, we're drinking, and they're just playing this just crappy music, just old country songs. There's a jukebox there, and my buddy Jack, he was just like, dude, we should throw in some crazy music. And I was like, dude, we should throw in some crazy hip hop music.
Yeah, just piss off all the old people.
Let's turn this place up, dude.
Yeah.
And he's like, we'll play some Snoop Dogg, we'll play some gangster shit, like let's do it. So Jack pulls out a $20 bill, and like we just go to this jukebox, him and I. And we are like laughing the whole time. I'm like, what's the most gangsterous shit we could play, dude?
Yeah, dude.
And
Straight out of Compton.
Yeah, like straight out of Compton and stuff. He's just like, and then him and I are both on our phones. We're trying to look at like Snoop Dogg and then his prime, Ice Cube and all this stuff. And then we were just like, dude, we loaded it up with like gangster stuff. And all these white people are going to be like, oh my God, what's
they're
going
all gonna
on?
leave. Yeah.
And dude, we're just laughing so hard.
But they had all those songs on there, huh?
It had all of them. Yeah. And so we just started putting them on there, and then we go back to our table, and we have a couple songs ahead of us that people had played already. And then we're just like, all right, yeah, we're just waiting for it to get crazy.
Yeah.
And then our friend Michael Chacon was like, man, it's not playing our song. Michael Chacon gets online and finds the jukebox and was able to add songs from his phone to the jukebox.
Really?
Yeah, he's just like I'm gonna hack into the mainframe, like.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I've never seen that.
So he was like able to like become a user or something, I don't know what he did, and then like add songs. And then like, I don't know if like somebody from the bar had control of this jukebox, but they weren't playing. We put in like $20 or $30 worth of songs. Yeah. And Jack was getting pissed because like it would just like skip our songs.
Yeah.
And it would just keep playing like the regular honky tonk stuff that they were playing.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, why aren't they playing our song? I put $20 bill in there. Like, come on, what's going on? And then Michael's like, I'm putting a song in. And then it played like one song. And then we just kept waiting and waiting and waiting.
Really?
And it just kept like skipping over our shit.
So how did you know that they were skipping though? Like, how do you
know? So it would
say
say you have these 3 songs that are above you,
uh-huh.
And then you can see our list below it. But people could pay extra to have their songs in front.
Really?
So this jukebox was like a freaking scam, dude. And we waited like an hour to hear those like gangster songs, and like none of them were playing. And we were like, dude, what the hell? And then we're just like, we can't stay here all night. We put like a bunch of money in this thing, and then it's like not doing anything. So it's like we were just waiting and waiting and waiting, and like we're like, man, I was getting picked up. My wife had dropped me off, and I'm like, I'm getting picked up in like 20 minutes. Like, so it was just like it kind of put a bummer on the night because we just wanted to see the faces on all the old people, just like, what is this?
Yeah. Well, what was the song that actually played?
Well, like Mike put on one songs. I can't remember what hip hop song. It was cool, but it wasn't like crazy hardcore or anything.
Yeah.
Like we were putting on like crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And we were waiting for that. We just wanted to see all these people's faces.
Yeah.
And it just like it wasn't playing any of them.
Yeah.
And it was
sucks.
so weird, and we were like so pissed off, dude, because we were like giddy like little kids, like, oh, we're gonna get them. They're gonna like lose their mind.
Look for oxygen tanks.
So I was just like, it was like getting like towards the end. I was like, all right, whatever. I went to the bar, and I was like, I was like, yo, let me get a picture of like whatever cheapest stuff. And I like grabbed some beers, like, all right, let's just chill for like another couple minutes, and let's just see if it plays. And then it didn't play, and we were like so mad. And then at the end of the night, we were like, all right, whatever.
Did you see anyone else going up to the jukebox and
no.
and possibly
there was other people on their phone adding stuff to that jukebox. And it was like, man, I wonder if they like, I don't know how they did it. And then I was texting the group of our guys at the end of the night. Like I was just like 2 hours later after we all left, I'm like, hey Jack, come back. Your songs are playing.
Yeah.
Just like, and you're like, dude, I'm home already. I was like, I'm just kidding. But
I bet somebody in that bar, like the owner,
dude, like one of the owners
was watching a bunch of young guys.
Yeah, because when I went and bought that picture, I told the bartender, I was like, "Hey man, I'm sorry in advance. You know, we put on some gangster shit right now," and he's just like, "Oh, don't even worry about it."
He didn't care.
So maybe somebody like vetoed that shit and like was like, "No, we're gonna be playing like oldies all night."
Yeah,
I don't know how they did that.
Yeah, that's.
But
strange.
it pissed all of us off, dude. We were like, "Fuck."
Yeah, because he paid.
We wanted
for
to hear
it.
He put a $20 bill in and was playing.
So what was that? $1 a song?
Or more.
Really?
About $1 a song.
Were any of the ones he put in were play next? So he was paying extra to have it played next?
No.
Oh, okay. So I'm wondering, I bet somebody either was watching and controlled it from just seeing you guys go over there, or everyone else was like, possibly like just putting theirs as next. I don't know.
There could have been like, somebody could have been paying like, you know, we're paying $1 a song. Somebody could have paid like $2 a song and just cut all of our songs, you know, like cut in front of us on the line. But we were giddy like a bunch of little girls, just like, ooh, I can't wait.
Yeah.
You know, like we thought that was a master plan. Like here's this conservative bar. There's a bunch of old white people in here. They're listening to some, you know, old Elvis or whatever they're listening to. Yeah. And then next it's gonna be like, yo, motherfucker, like crazy hip hop come on, and like we were just wanting to see them like lose their mind, like, oh, what is this? Who put this on? You know,
a heart attack, man.
They're gonna have a heart attack, and we were so jazzed, and we were just maybe so buzzed that we were like, dude, this is gonna be an epic time.
That would be something to film, dude, on your iPhone.
I know, dude. We were trying to get people's faces, and then so I posted like some like picture of myself the other night, and one of our friends, Josh, he's like, dude, what's up with this gay picture you posted? And I'm like,
dude.
And he's just like, I was just like, I don't know.
Even I was getting that picture like sent to me, a picture of you.
So he made it his screensaver.
It was Josh that did it?
Josh.
Okay.
And then I was like, I gotta take a picture of that.
Yeah.
And then I was like, we gotta do. I was like, I want you to take a picture of me taking a picture of you taking a picture, and like do like this whole like Inception picture. Yeah. And like have all of us do like 10 pictures, and it's like it just gets smaller on each phone. But it just got distorted and didn't really work out like I thought it would be. But I thought that would have been funny. But dude, overall, man, we had a great time. We laughed like so hard, like on everything, and every man night we have it's a blast, dude. We get to hang out with those guys. They're like our brothers, and it's good times, man.
Yeah, I was pretty pissed off that I didn't get to go, and I saw that picture too, dude. It was kind of gay.
Yeah.
Like, what were you thinking when you took that? I mean, you've been on Snapchat a lot more. I think you were like getting used to like that one.
It was a Snapchat filter, and I just took a picture of me, but I wasn't.
But you
like,
weren't
smiling.
You weren't smiling. You were just like serious, almost like with the puckering of the lips, like kind of Owen Wilson-ish.
I was like, I'm sorry, I'm so good looking. Here's a picture of me.
And then, did everyone put it as their background, or just Josh?
Just Josh, and then he was just like, hold on, let me open up my phone, and he like opened it in front of us, and I was like, why do you have a picture of me as the background?
Right. So he didn't show you, you caught it?
He did it in front of everybody, and then we all caught it. Okay. He's like, hey guys, look at my phone, hold on, let me open it, and then it was like a picture of me on his phone. I'm like, dude, come on.
Yeah, dude.
I was like, why do you have a picture of me? He's like, dude, you're so sexy, dude. I gotta put a picture of you on my background. I'm like, oh my god. And dude, everybody's busting up. I was like, hold on, I gotta take a picture of your screen. And I took a picture. I was like, hey, hold on, you take a picture of my screen, and we just like all took a picture. Like, I thought that would be kind of funny, but it came out like crappy. But oh, dude, it was so much fun, bro. And then we like went to another bar that was like right down the street, and then we walked in there, and it was like 500 old people just like eating dinner, and like, yeah, we're out of here. Yeah, so.
Dude, Josh is funny though. He actually, like, Bella and I went on a double date with him and Lily.
Well, thanks for the invite.
About maybe a week ago, we went over to Frank's, and he had been like trying to get a hold of me the day before, and I was working, and he left a message, dude, as Michael Jackson on my phone. He's like, hey,
do you have it still?
What are you doing? Yeah, I'm gonna play it for you, dude.
Oh my god, that's awesome. This is off the cuff,
dude. And it was funny because I brought
First off, this guy's a police officer.
Yeah, and I played. I was talking about it at the table, dude. He's like, I don't even remember what I said. What did I say? And I let him play it, and he listened to it in his ear, and he's like, don't show anybody that. And I was like, dude,
I'm about to put him on blast.
Yeah, let's play this. Let's play it. Here it is.
Josh is the best. I love that guy.
Who is he?
Wait, here. Okay, here it is.
Who is it?
Hold it closer to the mic.
No. Mac. Is this your voicemail? Because I could be Agent M.
He's supposed to be Macaulay Culkin.
No, Michael Jackson.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, Mac. Wait, what? Where are you? Mac. I thought I heard something over there.
Mac.
Very cute. Are you there? Is it my brother? No. You're a friend of mine.
Yeah.
So these are our boys, man. We leave like stupid messages like that on each other's stuff. Like it just we do stuff like that to make each other smile.
Yeah.
And that's what Man Night is. We get together, we have a couple brewskis, and we just reminisce on old times, talk about what's going on, and just the whole point of the night is just to make each other laugh.
It's like a podcast
Without the radio,
without the microphones.
What I want to do is have a Man Night
podcast,
dude.
Yeah, that'd be fun,
it.
dude. But it would be like because I remember you sent a text to the group. You're like, hey, what do you guys think if we did a podcast Man Night? And then no one was like, everyone's like, well, why don't you guys just record one and then we'll just listen to it together?
Yeah. They don't know
that. That's kind of like weird, dude. Like it would be way better if we were just all sitting in a circle.
Totally. And
then
we can all, if we had a couple funny topics, we could talk about like past and stuff. It would be like, dude, that'd be gold. It'd be hilarious.
Yeah, because
everybody's so funny, man.
Even like the scouting stuff, like from the Boy Scouts. And Michael sent that link, dude. I don't know if you opened it, but Michael sent a link to like the 90s and the early 2000s of us in Boy Scouts. And because somebody started sending around pictures of Dave Glenn. Dave Glenn was like this old scout leader, and he was known for cleaning his dishes and like drinking the dishwater. And
he's a great guy.
Talk like that. But yeah, so it was just a bunch of great pictures, and it was good to look back on. I think a lot of them were like from Tom Dewar's camera or for whatever like that. But and I miss that, man, because we used to really like. I looked at those pictures and like Catalina and Anza Borrego, Calico, dude. Like there was so many trips that we went on. Talkwitz.
Well, we were going on a trip every month, or sometimes twice a month.
Mm-hmm.
So every 2 weeks or 3 weeks, we were going on a trip. And then my parents were like, "All right, cool, we're going on a trip." And my dad was a scout leader, so it was like, "All right, pack your, we're gonna go to the grocery store, get your food for those 3 days." Get your water bottles.
Pack my suitcase.
Pack your stuff up, and we're going.
Yeah.
That was fun, dude. Just get out in the wilderness. Back then, there was no cell phones. There's no Instagram. There wasn't like, oh, I got to post this as live video. It was just like, you're getting out there. You're with your boys. It's raw. It's camping, man. It's man shit. Like, it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
And you have conversations with people, and it's just like, I don't know, man. I feel like with social media, it's just like, some people kind of put up a front, but it's like when you're out there in the wilderness, no phones, no internet, it's just like, man, this is real stuff. This is real talk. Like this is awesome. It's the best. And you kind of bond, especially with, you're going out with the same group of people. You bond so hard with these people, and the people that we bonded hard with, that's who we're going to Man Night with. These are the guys that known us since we were like 9 years old. We're all good buds. And it's like, everyone's obviously growing up, getting married, having kids, and it's like, it's cool. But it's like having that, that time where we can get together once a month, or sometimes it's 2 or 3 months we'll miss or whatever. But, we can just recall on certain stories and just laugh about it. And it's just a good time, and I just hope everybody out there has a group of people like that they have best friends that they can just pick up.
Get out there and make some friends, loser.
Dude,
yeah, camping's great, and I dude, with all the traveling, dude, I've been doing
when's
lately,
the last time you went camping?
It's been forever, dude, and like it's just been like the last couple trips I've been on, it's just been like nothing even close to that. It's just been going to other cities,
Yeah.
Like, and I was going to talk to you about because I went to Georgia. East Coast trip,
yeah.
And that was 2 weeks ago.
Georgia.
Dude, and that was like, unlike Utah, which is like all white people, this was... Well,
I've been to Utah before. I've never been to Georgia.
It's not. It was all black people. But God bless you guys. Is that too much for the podcast?
I don't know.
It was there was no white people there, so it was fun. It was totally a different demographic.
Well, why'd you go, and what was your outcome?
So the point of the trip was it was actually a work trip, and so they would have us go to workshops during the day, and it was the entire staff. So it was staff development. You go, you take a business course. We have teachers because in managing the schools, they're taking early childhood education courses. And then at night, you can do whatever you want. You know, you can go into the city or you go to museums. They had like tons of museums and like points of interest out there. Like my favorite one, dude, we went to this Coca-Cola factory. They had everything, dude, like from like the machines that can the cola to like the...
Oh, I saw that on your Instagram. That was dope.
Dude, they had just like all the like...
What was cool was every country has their own kind of Coca-Cola, right?
They all taste different. That's the coolest part, is at the very end, they have like these giant machines. It's like one says Asia, one says Europe, one says North America, and then
Mexico.
You could just try, and then they have every Coke product from that country, and you can just try it, dude. And
Don't you want the Fanta?
Dude, I tasted every soda. I walked out of there so full of sugar. I got the fattest sugar rush, dude, because I was just drinking soda after soda, and then I was like trying to clean my palate out with more soda, and then just like tasting all these different flavors, dude. The Asian ones were like...
That reminds me of when we would go to like AMPM or something as a little kid and put every single soda. It's called a suicide.
The suicide. Dude, I remember that, man.
So you had a suicide in your belly.
Dude, I did. And at the very end, like the worst part, just to top it off, dude, they had like this little mini bar, and they had this lady making cherry chocolate Coke. And you can't... The crazy thing is, before you leave the building, you can't leave with any of their soda. So you have to drink it while you're there. And the place is getting ready to close.
And they give you like a big cup.
Yeah, and also they totally rigged this stuff, is because the exit leads into their gift shop. So...
Oh, yeah.
Of course, like, my thing now is, like, when I travel, I just get a magnet for the fridge. I don't want to buy, like, T-shirts and...
I do shot glasses.
Giant flags or shot glass. Just grab a magnet. I don't need to wear it. Just put it on, the fridge or whatever. And
that's how Universal Studios is set up.
Dude, that's how all the theme parks, for sure. Their rides will just dump into like some gift shop.
Had a good time? All right, go buy some shit.
But that cherry chocolate Coke lady, dude, she was taking the cherry Coke and just dumping in like this super sweet chocolate. And I drank about a cup of it, and then I was about to leave, and then I had to turn around and get more. And I think I drank 3 glasses before I left because it was so good, dude. It was so sweet.
Cherry chocolate Coke?
Cherry chocolate Coke.
Wow, that's different.
Yeah, it was so delicious, dude.
I wouldn't even never thought about putting those two together.
But they had everything, dude. From like all the advertisement campaigns from like the 50s were up. All the
McDonald's
commercials. Yeah, anyone that they were like franchising to, anything like that, you can go out there and see it. And then we went and saw. We went to like, I think it's like the biggest aquarium in the country. And it's like the Atlanta Aquarium. Dude, we get there and like, I remember going to SeaWorld as a kid and seeing like,
the one in Long Beach too.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, you're sitting in a stadium. Like, the big show is the whale, right? So you're sitting in a stadium and he comes over and he just splashes you, and then somebody jumps on him and then he does a flip, and then he's all, and then we've seen the...
Free Willy.
Yeah, then we've seen the videos on Netflix with, like, what, Black Sea Turtle or whatever it's called. What is that called? Black whale or, like, something like black... I don't know, dude. It's, like, something about the whales where it's, like, how they're depressed and how their fin is, like... Dude. Their fin... That's really what the movie's called. Like, their fin is, like lopped over in, like, a circle and just whatever. Like, they're sad because they're living in this whole space. But... Dude, like, I know those whales are depressed, but I gotta tell you, like, the whale that man,
they take depression medicine.
But this aquarium was so big, you know what I mean? And
was it like a ghetto aquarium? Like, what's up, motherfucker? I'm the whale of this bitch.
Well, the staff was like that, but the sea creatures, man, were incredible. And the difference was you're not in some stadium.
They had Jordans on.
Yeah. They're like, yo, man, the dolphin show ain't open, man.
Yo, what up, dude? This whale got that Gucci on, bro.
Hey, bro. Dude, so instead of it being like in a stadium, just imagine being in this giant room, like these giant dark black rooms, and the walls are glass. So, and then the whole aquarium is lit up like a blue. But dude, there were so many like creatures compared to.
So you're in that room, you can see them like all over.
Dude, the whale was just swimming right next to me. It was so big, and it's like I was like looking at me through the glass. They had
like, get me out of here!
Hundreds, thousands of fish,
stingrays. That's so sick, dude.
Yeah, it was.
I always see those movies like Dubai, where it has like the largest tank where all these like crazy fish are swimming by. But I can only imagine, man. Those places are cool.
Yeah, and there was tons of good food, dude. We went to like this one. We saw like one.
So we ate that whale.
Yeah, we saw like one hot dog vendor, and he's like, "Hey, I'm the only hot dog vendor in Atlanta." And so I was like, all right, well, give me your sauerkraut dog, dude. And I just like ate one of his hot dogs, and I was like, dang, dude, you're not gonna be here for long either, because this thing was nasty, dude. Like
he was like, it was whale meat.
Yeah, dude. It was bad, man. And the last, I think, place that we went was like right before we left.
He's like, Finding Nemo on a stick here.
The last place that we went, I think the last museum was like the worst one to choose to go to last. I should have gone to the Coke Factory last, because then I would have left on a high note.
But what was the last one?
We went, I almost called it not the Museum of Tolerance. It was the Civil Rights Museum. So it's just all Martin Luther King, you know.
Just like hating white people.
Yes, dude. And there was like, there was
sucks.
one where it's like, you know, the videos of people in the bus. And then what really got to me was they had this like, I don't want to call it like, not an expo, but it was like what it was like you felt like you were sitting in a restaurant, and there was 4 seats. So you sit there, and it's like you're sitting in a restaurant, and there's like a server in front of you, but it's just a TV. And they have you put on headphones. And you're sitting there, and the point of this is to see how long you could take it. And what you can hear in your headphones is people telling you to get out of the restaurant.
Wow.
And it's like, hey, get up, move, boy. And then like your seat is jerked, dude, and it like pushes you forward.
No way.
Dude, and then it gets louder and louder, and you feel like people are like...
You're like, wait, I'm white.
Yeah, it feels like people are crowding around you and yelling at you, dude. It was really intense, dude. And so you're supposed to like not be able to sit through the whole thing. I sat through the whole thing. But dude, it really...
I didn't know that.
It really, yeah, dude, it really affected me, man. Like, it was like, Jesus, man, you know, people...
It's terrible.
You know, 50, 60 years ago. Yeah, it's just...
That was like the 50s and 60s, man.
But that was very intense. They had, interestingly enough, they had at the very end was like this giant room full of what looked like mirrors. But then you would stand in front of it, and somebody would appear right in front of you. Like, kind of like that Vox System guy in the movie The Time Machine. He's like, welcome to Vox Systems.
Okay. But
the person was like your size, and they would stand right in front of you. And you could choose any country you wanted. And you, when you picked it, that person would pop up. And there was white people, there was Asian people, black people, Hispanic, anything. And
like, what's up, fool?
Dude, yeah. And they would tell you their experience with racism. So it was interesting to see at the very end.
What did you pick?
I chose the white guy. And he's like,
we're going to keep this shit simple.
His experience with racism.
He's like, well, I'm good.
I'm just kidding. Dude, I'm joking. They did have like white people on there and what their experience was. But
he's like, yeah, that's crazy. All right, have a good day.
He's like, yeah, man, I had to wait in line at a Starbucks for like 15 minutes.
2 minutes. 2 minutes. As his brother was ordering his coffee black.
Seriously, man, we've come a long way since those days, and
yeah,
it was educational. You know, it wasn't me just sitting back and drinking Coca-Colas. You know,
and this isn't us making fun of people. Dude, we're both in international relationships, so
yeah, it was a tearjerker, dude. It was like, geez, man, you know. But the cool thing was, like, they also had out there, they had like the CNN building, and you can see, like, you know, they just had tons of shops or whatever. You can walk around, tons of great restaurants. Since Bella was there, we went on like this like Omega, just huge Ferris wheel, and then they had like, as soon as you get out of the Ferris wheel, there's this guy that's just like hawking couples.
Of course.
And he's like, it's like this short guy.
I had a guy hawking me out of friggin' CVS today.
Yeah, well, dude.
Hey, can I wash your windows? I'm like, I ain't got no spare change, bro. Get out of here.
Yeah, this guy was like, they had a stagecoach company out there. So, girls, when they see a stagecoach, it's just like, they want to go on. And so this guy's like, hey, you guys look like a nice young couple. Let me take you for a ride around the block. And
they have those in San Diego, except they're on bikes.
Dude, so this was actually like the horses and everything. The horse. Oh, wow. It was the horse-drawn carriage.
He's like, if you don't get it here, I'll shoot you.
And is it stagecoach or horse-drawn carriage? Or is that the same thing?
Stagecoach is like I feel like it's like a Knott's Berry Farm term.
It is, stagecoach is just the name of a Knott's Berry Farm ride with horses. Okay, yeah. I think it's horse-drawn carriage. Yeah.
So what you got was a carriage full of horses.
And, the horses pulling you. So we went around the block, but the thing was, it was like, he's like, yeah, it's $20 a person. We go around the block. And I was like, all right. I was like, I don't have any cash on me. And I did. I think I had like $28, but I didn't have 40. And he says, I tell him, I say, dude, I don't have $40. He's like, it's all right. There's an ATM over there. Come on, hop in. I'll give you a ride. So he takes us.
Hustler.
We see the sights and everything like that from the horse-drawn carriage. He goes around in a circle, come back, and he's like, all right.
He's like, well, here's the ghetto. Yeah, all right, we home now.
He opens the little gate, and he's like, I hope y'all ride was fun, and he's like, so that'll be $40. And I was like, I have 28. Is that good? Because I don't want to go to the ATM. And he's like, that's just fine. And I was like, dude, is this it? Because he even told me originally, it's actually 25 normally, but I'll give y'all a deal. I'll give it to you for 20. And I ended up getting it for $14 a pop. But I'm thinking, like, dude, it took him nothing to just draw his. There was nobody else out there that wanted to go on it because it was so cold that night. It was late at night. It
cost him nothing.
We were like the only ones on that Ferris wheel. So as soon as we got off, that's the people that they were hawking. Everyone out there, it looked like, because we went by this like one club with like two like giant torches like blowing fire in the front, and I think they had like there was like hundreds of people in line to go see like some show. I don't know what it was, dude, but everyone in Atlanta was going to that show, except for we're stuck on it. Yeah. So yeah, somebody, I don't know, whoever plays in Atlanta, Georgia. We saw a movie while we were out there. We watched the new Thor. That was pretty cool, dude. I thought it was like... It
was alright. I saw it too.
You saw it? Okay, here's the thing. I thought the first one was great. I thought the second one was okay. It was like, whatever.
The third one, I'm like,
Dude,
it's all over the place.
The third one was goofy. It was like the first one where it's like you have like this original soundtrack, where it's like, and it's like sounds all themed. The new one, it's like, okay, yeah, we're going to put Led Zeppelin songs in here and just try to make it, oh, yeah, I can relate to this, but it was just like, it'd be like taking Lord of the Rings or something like a movie like that has like a definitive soundtrack that you're used to, and then you're wanting a wider audience, and so you put in Black Sabbath or something like that.
Yeah.
And then they put in Iron Man. I still liked it. It was fun. It was funny. Not as good as the first one. Better than the second one, I think. Mm-hmm. But, that's what I'd say. Number 1 was the best, then number 3, and then number 2.
I agree.
I actually saw another movie last night. Coco. Have you seen that? It's like a cartoon.
No, I saw that the reviews are really good on Coco. Dude, I haven't been to the movies in like a year, but I saw that one was doing really well. Did you like it?
Dude, I went in thinking like, okay, this is gonna be like a cartoon. This is gonna be cheeseball. I've seen the trailer where it's like a bunch of like skeleton people.
Another Disney movie.
Yeah, dude. But I was honestly blown away. Like it was probably, dude, I'm not kidding. Like this movie, like I think I like almost cried at the very end. It was probably the best cartoon that I've seen in maybe 10 years.
The last movie that made me tear up was probably
cartoon or movie?
Cartoon was probably Up.
Yeah, and that was Pixar.
That was a Pixar.
Dude,
movie.
Pixar knows how to like tug at your freaking heartstrings, man.
They do.
They started doing that with like Toy Story 3, where like sending everybody into a furnace, and now this movie is like about a kid who just loves music, where his whole family is like against that. So I was like, dude, that's crazy. And then he goes like through all these crazy adventures and like the afterlife of like Dios de los Muertos or Dia de los Muertos. And dude, overall, like I don't want to spoil this movie at all. All I can say is, dude, I really would recommend, dude. It's in the theaters right now. Go watch Coco. Have an open mind. It's less of a kids movie than you think, but there was kids there. So it was like an appropriate movie to watch, you know, that if we were all going to go see a movie. So I loved it, dude. Like, it was my expectations were so low, you know, and I guess they should have been higher considering it's Disney Pixar and their movies are always great. But this movie, I was seriously blown away. Dude, there's tons of, like, upcoming movies, dude. Like, I actually wrote a few down. Like, they're remaking Jumanji. With The
I saw that with Kevin Hart and The Rock. That's gonna be a freaking awesome movie. Like, that's a movie that I watched in our childhood. I was like, oh, Jumanji's crazy.
Robin Williams, dude, getting sucked.
Rest in peace, Robin Williams, dude.
Sucked into a freaking Jumanji board and
comes out 20 years later or something.
Dude, I remember when after Jumanji came out, I think you and I had we took like a Pizza Hut box.
Yeah.
Where you open up the pizza box and we drew like the little map from Jumanji onto the cardboard, and it looked like the actual Jumanji game board.
Yeah.
And we're like roll dice, and then like, oh yeah, you get sucked into like, you know, the Bat World, or
go hang out.
Go back in time. And we had like the little cards, you would read them, and it's like you will be locked into this jungle forever. With like,
I remember that,
dude. That was nuts, man. Like it was. That movie just it was so cool, you know. Like there's certain movies like you remember like thinking it looks so realistic.
They put a lot of CG in that movie too.
There was
all
tons
those
of
animals.
Yeah. And it was mid-90s, so at the time that was just cutting edge. There was like rhinos.
Cutting edge for sure.
Rhinos running around, and I remember like the house that Robin Williams grew up in was like covered in plants.
Yeah.
He was like getting sucked into the fireplace.
There's like
by
poison ivy all over the place.
Some
like,
giant flowers like suck like.
And then one guy got sucked halfway through the wood floor.
Yeah, that was Robin Williams.
Yeah.
And then the floor became solid again. So
it was because it was like quicksand.
It was like quicksand, and then when it becomes solid, he's stuck in the floor.
Like, oh!
And then all those giant spiders come out, dude. And they're like crawling around his head, dude. And then somebody has to put like a bulb over his head to like keep the spiders off. Dude, that movie was like freaking
in its
insane.
time, that was a good movie for sure.
Yeah, that was like I think maybe 1996 or something like that. Then they're also coming out with obviously the new Star Wars. I don't know if you're excited.
If you're a Star Wars fan, you already know Star Wars puts out a new movie every time when it's Christmas time. They put out a new movie every Christmas time.
It's like every 2 years, and then
but it's always on Christmas.
Yeah, but then like the Rogue One, like that's part of like the anthology of Star Wars. So like the official Star Wars movies are like every 2 years, and then between those, around the same time, you're going to get a Star Wars anthology. It's something kind of like along the lines of like, if you remember, like when Matrix was big.
Yeah.
And they would put out like Animatrix, you know, like all these weird in-betweeners, you know, that would be like, somehow you needed to still see it to like know the full story.
Yeah.
And not everyone can totally get into it because it was just kind of
I'm so lost with Star Wars right now.
It's good, man. I actually watched at like 2 a.m. I was editing the other day, and like 2 a.m. The only, like, I have the original trilogy on VHS, but the only Blu-ray that I have is The Force Awakens, which I really like, dude. Like, I thought it was great. But I need to get, I want to get all 6 on Blu-ray, dude, because those movies are classic. And I think what happens is a lot of people are for it or just aren't interested. But I really think if you go back and you start from the beginning, just like everybody else.
Yeah.
And I don't care what you got to do. If you need to write down the characters' names and just pause it to follow the storyline, it's not that hard. But you will get into it. You will watch it.
If you start from the beginning, you follow it all the way through. And if you're not like some like random person, like, all right, let's just start here, this new movie. You're going to be completely lost with all the characters, what's going on, why they're doing it. It's just like, you need to start from the beginning and then watch each one leading up to that movie before you go into the movies and see that movie.
Right. And you have people, you know, like, that are just way, way into Star Wars. You know, like, it's just their life. Yeah. You know, or like they just
waited at the movie
worship
theater
the movies
for 3 days.
Yeah. And, you know, you got to, and it's a lot of times, you know, it's the generation of guys that are now 40s.
And that's how people are with our podcast. They're just waiting days.
they're on the edge of their
streets just waiting.
Well, that's the thing, though, you know, and with Star Wars, you know, these just didn't come out back to back. You know, like,
sure.
It's been in the making since the late 70s. The movie started coming out.
The actual movie, yeah.
Like the original, and then in the 80s with
Harrison Ford.
In the 80s with Empire Strikes Back.
before him.
Yeah, and Return of the Jedi, and then of course you had all the 90s movies, early 2000s with when George Lucas came back and everyone.
Remember when we had the Sega game?
No, it was Super Nintendo. It was the Empire Strikes Back, and you're like flying through the desert and like shooting them. Those little guys come out, dee 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 dee. Yeah,
that was a pretty fun game, dude.
Yeah, dude, that game
pretty entertaining.
That game kicked ass, man. I do want to get like the Battlefront games for like those ones originally came out like on Xbox and PS2, and then they started remaking them for PS4 and the new Xbox. The first one was kind of like, I guess it was multiplayer, but there was like no campaign mode or something like that.
Yeah.
And it was a terrible remake. No one was happy with it. And then I guess they kind of got their act together with Battlefront 2. And I want to get it, dude. It looks like a good game. And I haven't.
Replay it.
I have not bought a video game for my PS4 since I bought the PS4.
Yeah.
And that was because it came with Grand Theft Auto and The Last of Us, which are just two mega games. And then the only other game I bought was like on Black Friday a couple years ago. The one that we play, which is Call of Duty, just the crummiest one nobody likes. And I got it on sale, but we always play that game.
It's fun.
Like, yeah, it's fun. And we play against bots, but like nobody likes playing against bots. They want to play against people online, but those kids are just too
live,
good.
Yeah.
Those kids are too good, dude. So anyway, and then of course they're coming out with another movie. I mean, you remember the 50 Shades of Grey, but they're coming out with this movie called
Yeah, because I've read that book so many times.
Dude, it's the 50 Shades Freed.
50 Shades of Gay.
Yeah, dude, 50 Shades Freed. So these are movies that are like fantasy movies.
They're like books.
I think they're based on books, but like it's kind of like Magic Mike, where the girls get all into these movies.
Have you ever seen Magic Mike?
No.
Okay, here's me getting serious. About a year ago, I saw that movie was on, and I was like, "This movie's so gay." And then I was home by myself, and there was nothing really.
That's
to
the
watch.
only time to watch Magic Mike.
Yeah. So I was like, "I'm just gonna give this shit a shot." I played it. It was a good movie, dude.
Yeah, and then you followed it up with Brokeback Mountain.
No, it was a well-made movie, dude. And I'm like, oh, I got into it, and then I was like, where's the next one?
Magic Mike 2.
But there was no Magic Mike 2.
Magic Trike? No, I'm just kidding.
And, if you watch it, dude, he's just like a dude that's like working construction. He's like a dude working construction. He needs more money. Then like he gets like roped into this place and he puts on this whole show. And I was just like, I got into it, dude. I'm like, and then my wife got home. She's like, so what did you do today? I was just like, I watched Magic Mike. She's like, oh my god, why'd you watch that? I'm like, oh, it's a good movie.
Yeah.
We rewatched it together, and she's like, wow, that was a good movie. Where's the next one? I'm sorry, I'm admitting that, but it was actually a pretty good movie, dude.
Dude, I feel like we never touch on like current events. You know what I mean?
True.
And so it's hard for people to gauge, because we started recording podcasts
a year ago.
So because we had such old ones, there were certain ones before, like when we did the 4th of July one, and our podcast wasn't out. We obviously couldn't put that one out at that time.
True.
So I just stacked it on top of the America one because I was like, and then I
that's why that one was 3 hours.
Yeah, that was why it was so long. But I was like, hey. I prefaced it with, hey, guess what? This is an old episode, but
if you listen all the way through,
it falls in line with, the America kind of a theme. So,
I'm so lazy right now.
To figure, whatever. But I thought, we would touch on some of that stuff. So, like, one of the huge things right now is all the like sex scandals going on with ever since like the Harvey Weinstein thing, and the only reason this is like. It's one of those things where, like, on YouTube, where you start watching videos, and you just go down that wormhole, and you just keep watching other videos, and it led me into a place last night where I can't even tell you.
You went down a rabbit hole.
Dude, I did. And, like, it all started. Here's why I was interested. Because it started off with Harvey Weinstein being this crazy guy. Then you got people you start caring about, like, that were... I always thought Kevin Spacey was a cool actor. Played a great bad guy in, like,
grabbing dicks,
7. Man. And then you find stuff out like that, dude. Matt Lauer, I mean, we've been watching that guy in the news forever. Louis C.K., a beloved comic, man. Like, I can't believe it. You know, he pulled his junk out in front of a couple girls. You know, and I remember years ago, and I was even watching videos last night where it was like the Seventh Heaven Dad was like talking about, like, he actually did an interview. He actually had the balls. Reverend Cameron had the balls to go on had the balls to go on and be like, yeah, guess what? I touched Simon or whoever it was that he molested. But
put my finger in the dog's ass. I don't know.
Yeah, well, his deal was he said in 1973 he was 25. This is Reverend Camden.
What's his real name?
I don't know, dude. Have you ever? Is he anything else besides Reverend Camden? No.
In Seventh Heaven.
He said
he's the major dad.
Yeah, he's the pastor. But he said that in this interview. So the lady's like, so what led you to do this? You know, and you know, he only came out because his ex-wife wanted to go through a divorce, and she recorded one of their therapy sessions where he admits to watching a 10-year-old girl in 1973 and placing her hand on his privates. And then twice in the 80s, revealing himself to like two, I think it was in the 80s or 90s, that he revealed himself to two teenage girls at two different times. And she's like, so, would you describe yourself as a sexual predator? And he's like, no, I don't fit the ethical or the dictionary definition of a pedophile. I don't think I'm like that. I have no attraction. And it's just like, dude, yes, you do. You've done this on multiple occasions. Your behavior, these patterns.
You're a creeper.
But it's like every 10 years or years and years that he would do this. And so, people like that, dude, like it's just shocking. The Kevin Spaceys, the Harvey Weinsteins, and then what really led me down the rabbit hole was like, I've been kind of keeping up with, like, I'm a huge fan of 80s movies. I like Corey Feldman. He was in The Lost Boys. He was in The Goonies.
Yeah.
He was in Stand By Me, dude. You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Corey Feldman?
Yeah.
And he was in a lot of 80s movies he would do a lot of movies with this other guy named Corey Haim. So they were known as, like, the two Coreys, and they did, like, movies like License to Drive or whatever.
Yeah.
And he had gone to the Santa Barbara Police Department in 1993 to tell them that he was sexually molested, and at the time Corey Haim was still alive. He's dead now, but and he died a couple years ago. But he went to them and he filed a claim, and then he went on and did a bunch of interviews saying that no one was listening to his story because everyone was at the time concerned about Michael Jackson. And I don't know if you've ever seen like his videos, but like Corey Feldman's obsessed with Michael Jackson. He knew Michael Jackson. He was like good friends with him and everything like that. But and now like he even believe it or not, Corey Feldman has a music career and he does but he dresses like Michael Jackson and everything that he does. And he went on Dr. Oz and said that he had 6 names of guys in Hollywood, people that were higher ups that would lead to entire movie studios having a pedophilia problem, like that could potentially bring down an entire studio. And he revealed one name on Dr. Oz. It was some guy that is like now in Mexico and no one knows where he is. And so it was like Dr. Oz was saying, like, why don't you just come out and just say the names? Just say the names. And he's like, I did. I went to the Santa Barbara Police Department in 1993 and I gave them all the names. They didn't do anything about it. They were more concerned about Michael Jackson. So Dr. Oz is making a big deal. He's tweeting about it. He's doing all this stuff. He's doing some groundwork for Corey Feldman. And he's saying, basically, we need to get these names out here. But then Corey Feldman goes and starts a Kickstarter campaign or like a GoFundMe. Mm-hmm. And he says, if you guys want to hear the names, I need $10 million to make a movie about my life and Corey Haim's life and how Corey Haim's sexual abuse, because they were good friends in the 80s and 90s when they were making movies together. Wow. And he's like, and how it really messed him up. And Corey Haim got all involved in drugs and everything like that. And he's like, this is what led to his death. And he goes, and I need to expose all that now. And he's like, I need $10 million to make this movie. So you're getting all that. He's getting a lot of lashback, like, about, you don't need $10 million to name 6 names. And he's like, no, I do, because I need protection from, and he's claiming that there's like buses.
All his lawyers and shit.
Yeah. basically he needs security. He thinks he needs $10 million worth of security to protect him and to make this movie because he thinks that he's going to be the target. Yeah, he thinks he's going to be a target if he names them and potentially brings down, like, he says they're like high power studio execs. Like imagine he says, oh yeah, Steven Spielberg, and just ruins that for everybody.
Yeah.
But if people need to name names, they just drop it, dude. You need to say something, no matter what.
For sure. And
I'm glad, I'm happy that he's picking this back up. And Dr. Oz, I guess, and Corey Feldman have teamed up, and they're trying to get the Santa Barbara Police Department to come back out and say, like, what's going on with that report? Why didn't you guys follow up on it? And there's I think they did a second interview a couple days ago, and they said they had no record of him going. So this was like a couple months ago, but after all these people started getting exposed and his GoFundMe really started making money, and he's like, I'm gonna expose, they now admitted a few days ago that they have the records of his interview, of him making that report. So why they didn't follow up on it, I don't know. Maybe because in the 90s, Corey Feldman was like a druggie, and he was like just kind of like, he was a burned out actor. I don't know, but nobody was taking him seriously. And if you look at his music career in the 90s and you look at, the kinds of movies he was making at that time, he was kind of a burnout, and no one wanted to listen to him and what he said. And he's got like his book that came out called Choreography, and he's just doing what he's a funny guy to watch because he's like just so out there, but that's why people watch him. You know what I mean? And if you like his movies, you're just like, okay, I'll support you. But at the end of the day, dude, he now acknowledges he doesn't need the $10 million. But then he went and did another GoFundMe for $1 million. He goes, all right, I don't need 10, but now I guess you have to raise that amount of money or you don't get any of it.
Yeah.
So he started another one for just $1 million, and now he thinks he can do that. But so I don't know. I hope he makes the movie.
How much money did you put into it?
I didn't put anything. But the funny thing was, like, he keeps retweeting everybody on Twitter, like, that says, like, oh, I just gave to Corey Feldman's campaign, and it's like hashtag I stand with Corey, hashtag truth campain. And then I kept trying to get Corey Feldman to retweet me, and I just be like, just emptied my piggy bank and putting it into the truth campaign and everything like that, and he wouldn't retweet it. I was just trying to do it, like, just, and then, yeah, like, so the $1 million, I don't know, I think he'll get it, and, especially with the way that everything is unfolding nowadays, with everyone coming out, and, what really was funny was, so I was clicking on all these people. I saw like Rob Schneider was saying something, but it's these certain people. It's the people you would least expect. It's the predators that are getting all the attention. Like we know that women were sexually assaulted or people revealing themselves.
Taken advantage of, yeah.
Exactly. But it's the victims now.
You want this movie part?
Yeah, but it's rarely like
Suck 'em out
the victims that are getting the attention, or they're coming out. But now they're starting to come out, and like Rob Schneider, he did one, and he was like saying, I was at a party with Adam Sandler, and some guy came up and grabbed me in the balls. Or no, that was Terry Crews. This was the funny one.
Everybody wants attention,
dude. Terry Crews, this big, huge cheeseburger Eddie, dude, from The Longest Yard. The guy, the dad from Everyone Hates Chris.
Everyone Hates Chris,
dude.
yeah.
And he's saying this was a year ago, where he was at a party. He was the one at the party with Adam Sandler. And Rob Schneider's was one different. He said he met some guy in a hotel room to try out for a movie, and that he made Rob Schneider like crawl around on the floor on his hands and knees, and he felt like he was taken advantage of.
Oh my god!
But Terry Crews he says that he was at a party a year ago with it was at like an Adam Sandler party. And some guy, I think it's John Grisham, which is like another Hollywood exec, he grabbed him in the balls twice. Terry Crews was with his wife.
And what are they doing this whole time? They just letting him grab their cock?
Well, he said that he was so mad, he wanted to like just kill this guy, but he thought that his career would be over. So he says he left the party after this happened a second time, same party, same guy. And his wife was just like holding his hand and saying, you did the right thing. You controlled your temper. And then we'll follow up with this, make a police report. But he waited a year to make this report with the LAPD. He waited an entire year, and there's a TMZ bit where they're like following him outside of the police station, and they're like, Terry Crews, why did you wait a year to do this and to make this report? And he's just like, just felt like the right time. Everything's coming out all at once. And if there ever was a right time, yes, it is now. And you definitely don't want to wait until the statute of limitations, is up. You don't want to wait so long, 20, 30 years, because after so long, it's hard for them to do anything about it. So, with just 1 year passing, and then when he came out, that guy called him. I think it was John Grissom. Calls Terry Crews and says, "Hey, I was drunk that night," because he knows this was going to ruin his career. Yeah. And he's going to be up on the shelf with Harvey Weinstein and Louis C.K. Who's going to want to watch that next special?
Hey, everybody's coming out with something.
Dude. So, it just goes to show a lot of these guys in Hollywood, and pedophilia, whether it's sexual assault or pedophilia or whatever, these dudes are just going to start thinking twice, about flexing that muscle, that power that they have. And
they used to be able to get away with anything, man. Like, hey, do you want this movie part? Yeah, suck my dick.
It's all Wolf of Wall Street status, you know? And a lot of people, they're thinking, well, yeah, you got to pay your dues or whatever. They're going to put you at the top. I don't know. But a lot of people, you would think, this isn't everybody coming out, And there's probably more stuff that's just bubbling.
Absolutely.
But that's why I want Corey Feldman to put his movie out, dude, because I want to know, who is it? Who are these dudes? And for $1 million to make this movie now, that's somebody should just fund that. But who is going to do that? There's actors.
See, those people that put their name on the line to fund that, then those people will be blacklisted from all the other people. So that's probably why they don't want to do it.
Maybe, or maybe they're afraid that it's going to ruin a potential job opportunity for them in the future.
Exactly.
Like that was like Ben Affleck.
And those people just do those certain acts that those people are asking because they want that role. They want that part. They want to be successful in Hollywood.
Yeah, and they're thinking, I'll do it, whatever. Okay, open up your robe in front of me. I don't care. Do your thing, and then I'm good. Then I'll get some speaking role and
whatever.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's sad.
Yeah, it is sad, dude. And but again, it's just one of those. It's one of those careers that it's so competitive. If you're in New York or you're in Los Angeles, and people come here from all over the world to get into this. This is.
I'm here from Kansas. I want to be an actor.
Yeah, and and if it could happen to Terry Crews, then it could happen to anybody, dude. Because
he's a good guy too.
Yeah, he is. He's pretty awesome. And his.
The last time I hung out with Terry Crews. Actually, I never hung out with Terry Crews. Anyways, go ahead. What were you saying?
I can't remember, but we'll wrap that part up. So, anyways, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, my thoughts are, man, it's like that's Hollywood, man. People are getting taken advantage over, getting a part or whatever. I understand that, and it's like people are using their power to do whatever they want, and it's just sad, dude. Like it's not supposed to be that way. But hey,
dude, I even read somewhere that or I heard it that Disneyland was the mecca of pedophilia, where all the pedophiles hang out. Dude, I'm not even kidding.
Where did you hear that?
I can't remember. I think it might have been Joe Rogan though. Somebody said that on his podcast. That's where they all hang out. I was at Disneyland. I was at Disneyland about 2 weeks ago, and we were in line with this drunk fat guy.
He touched your butt,
and he had a little kid with him. He had a little boy, and he starts telling us that he was this baseball player. And this is a guy. He's maybe 350 pounds. He's probably about 35.
Just disgusting.
Just a disgusting fat whale. And he was funny at first, but keep in mind, we're in line for 2 hours with this guy. And it's me, Bella, and her two little sisters. Or one of her little sisters and her older sister. And we're all playing hot hands. We're just killing time. And, in hot hands where you make a sudden gesture, and then the person tries to hurry up and move. Well, I started laughing because her two sisters were standing like closer to him, and we were on the other side of them, and he started going, "Hoo!" You know what I mean? And I thought that he was with like this Asian lady wife that was behind him, but it wasn't his wife. And I saw that he was with a kid, and I didn't think anything of it. You know, he was just this big fat slob, and he would go, "Huh!" And I was like laughing like it was hysterical. And then as soon as I laughed, he took that as like, okay, these guys want to talk to me and hang out with me. And so he starts telling me like this sob story about how he's here from Boston. You know, he's like, hey, I'm from Boston. And how he used to be a baseball player back in like the 90s. And then he threw out his shoulder. And basically that he's been in this ongoing court case regarding his health. And how he basically was just trying to get a settlement. And the whole time, like, I'm starting to realize, like, this guy is, like, trash, dude. Like, he's so drunk, dude. And he starts, like, getting his phone out, and he has, like, these stinky finger hands, dude, where, like, just, like, they're all crusty, and, like, he has, like, dirt in his fingernails, and he's just like, and he's like, yeah. And he starts showing pictures of, like, his house and everything like that. His kid's, like, running around and, like, going underneath the lines and like the ropes and everything, and he's just like not even paying attention to this kid. I almost felt like this kid was so out of it that he could have been kidnapped by this guy, you know? And so this guy thinks like I'm his best friend, and he's just like standing like inches away from me, like with his cell phone, and I could just smell the booze coming off of his breath. He's just like, yes, and he's like showing me pictures of like his house in Boston that's like under construction. Dude, I couldn't wait to get out of that line, but it was actually worth it because it was for the cars ride. And that's like the only reason I renewed my pass, because that freaking Cars World at Disneyland is awesome. And they have that 50s diner, which is like, you know, they have like the old school like malts and burgers and everything like that. So it's actually pretty cool. Then they had a new show that it's not brand new, but I haven't seen it. It was called the World of Color.
Oh, what is
and
that?
Basically instead of like a water show, it's like a light show, but there's water involved.
Where was this in the new Disney spot or in?
Yeah. It was at California Adventure.
California Adventure is cool, man. I like that spot.
Dude, it is, because the last time I had a pass was like 08, 09, and it was still kind of, they were still getting their act together.
Yeah.
You know, now it's much better than it used to be. When I was going back then, it was just barely anyone there. It was like a skeleton, dude. Like it was bare bones park, dude. There wasn't as many rides. There was
like probably
way less people.
3 years ago, and there's like a little bar that like overlooks that water show, like a bar restaurant. And then I remember, me and Ivy had like just an IPA. We were just chilling, and then like that whole water show happened, and it was just like a beautiful like.
Yeah, dude. It's incredible.
Nice, dude.
It's incredible. It's all to music and coordinated.
Music. There's lights. It was like, wow, this is awesome.
It was tight, dude. We had
a better time there than we did at Disneyland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, but I mean, it doesn't matter at this point with Disneyland. It just doesn't matter when you go.
But we had a park hopper, so we went back and forth.
Yeah. Well, you just bought a day ticket.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things where it doesn't matter when you go. I'm starting to realize, like, I just try to avoid the crowds there, but it's just not working. You just go. It's always going to be crowded.
Always.
It doesn't matter if it's rain or shine, dude. Like, everyone's there. And, you know, I'm going there for the food, really. You know, just a freaking scarf. But
the food is good, too, man.
It is. Dude.
What's your favorite guy? What's your guys' favorite there? What's your favorite food there?
I actually really enjoyed the 50s Diner, but there's a few nice restaurants in California Adventure that I've been to. The one I haven't been to is the Blue Bayou restaurant that's inside of...
The Blue Bayou?
Yeah, the Blue Bayou that you pass by in the Pirates ride.
My friend works there.
Yeah, good for him. What a loser. Just kidding. Imagine going to work every day and having to walk all the way into Disneyland and get a ride in there just to get to your work.
Yeah.
That would be a freaking pain in the butt, dude.
That would suck.
But, so that was for Bella's birthday. And then, I wanted to thank you, dude, for being a part of, like, I made her a birthday video where, like, all of her, I had all of her...
That was classic.
Dude, I had all of her friends and family, and then our family sent in a video. For those of you that didn't see it, everyone sent in a video of saying happy birthday and just sharing what was ever on their heart. And
that's so much bigger than like, hey, happy birthday on Facebook, or like, hey, like, we'll text. When I get a text message on my birthday, I'm like, oh, cool, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But you made a freaking video of all of her best friends and family and extended family on a video, and video is so much more personal.
Yeah.
You know, and they're just spilling out their guts about her, and dude, that was amazing. I would love to see her reaction to that.
Well, I showed it to her at on her actual birthday. Well, it was midnight, you know, so the day, and then it became midnight, and I was like, hey, I got a gift for you, so come in here at midnight, and then you can see it.
Yeah.
And dude, I kid you not, man, like some people...
Where did you play it?
At my house, off my computer. So, like, I, of course, posted the video on Facebook and tagged all the people that were in it. But the video itself, I didn't want to put it on Facebook until she saw it.
Of course.
So I just played it for her right off the computer.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was like, you know, she loved it, you know. And it was like, I'm so glad that I know how to video edit at the speed that I can.
Yeah.
Because there was people...
You're a wizard.
Yeah, there were people that phoned in, you know, they called it in at the last minute, you know, their last minute sending their videos. And what I had to do was, you know, I said, hey, I know it's your birthday, but I almost your birthday, but I need you to go in my room and shut the door for like an hour, you know. And she's like, why? And I was like, I can't tell you, it's just birthday related, so just go in there. You know, and I turned on the Netflix, she was good. And then I'm in there like scrambling with my headphones trying to put this video together so she can't hear anything.
Amazing.
And I got it. I finished it by midnight, played it. It worked out. It was all good. I had like Forever Young by like Rod Stewart and like The Killers, all these things that I've done in the background.
Only thing that I would have changed in that video was your part.
Why?
Because you're like in your car.
I know, dude. I phoned
dude,
mine in too, dude. Like mine was just like sitting in my car, like, hey, what's up? Happy birthday!
I would have made mine like the most perfect.
You know what? It came together good. I'm glad. And
the video was amazing, and I can only imagine in my head like you playing that for her. She would have been crying her ass off. Like if I play that for my wife, like, and all of our friends like, hey, what's up, Ivy? You know, you're like, dude,
yeah, she teared up.
I would tear up,
especially because her friend, her best friend, Sumi from Japan was in it.
Oh,
and I got her in it, and I had only met her right before she left to Japan.
Huh.
And that girl was so cool. She gave me a guitar, like a nylon string guitar, and I had just met her. She's like, I'm leaving to Japan. I can't bring all this stuff with me. And I was like, thank you. You know, you can never have enough guitars, you know, and I didn't have a nylon string. So if you play guitar, you know how nice they are, you know. But so it was a win-win situation. But yeah, so
all the video came out amazing.
Thank you. So all good things. Is there anything else you wanted to add, dude? Or like, we have the Christmas season just around the corner. We have some cool stuff for you guys too. That's popping up here real soon. So if you're listening to this, look forward to the Christmas special. It's coming your way. It's gonna be totally
funny, awesome content coming.
Yeah, lots of characters. It's nice and seasonal. So I think you'll enjoy it. But I think that's a wrap for us tonight. Okay, guys, thank you for listening. I know what you're thinking. The podcast only looks like it's halfway over if you're looking at the time bar. And that's because it is. We're actually including the Black Friday 2016 episode. It was never released because our podcast was not up at the time. So enjoy it now. And peace. It's the day after Black Friday! Yeah, why don't they call it White Friday? Because there's no white people that get up at 3 in the morning to go shopping!
We did it online! We're getting that shipping!
Dude, I actually went to the mall for one reason. I figured, well, everyone's going to be going shopping, right? So this would be a good day to go get a haircut.
Absolutely.
So I go down there with our brother-in-law, Cole, and we're like, all right, let's just go down there. He's like, I don't know. It's either going to be super crowded or it's going to be not crowded at all. Long story short, I'm ready to jump out because we cannot find a parking spot. Yet we're looking into this like fantastic Sam's, which is where I get my shitty haircuts, and there's no one in there. So I was like, I was right, but now we can't find parking.
Yeah.
So I was like, look, just jump in I'm gonna jump out of the car. You're gonna jump in the driver's seat and just go find a parking spot, and then I'll get a haircut. So I go in there. He's still not showing up, and I'm almost done with my haircut by this point. I'm like, did this fool get lost? You know, because he's in Menifee. They have like 5 cars out there.
Yeah.
So I finish my haircut. I pay for it and everything. Dude, I walk out of Supercuts and I go down like 2 aisles of cars and he's just stuck, dude. And he's like, I can't find a parking spot, man. This is taking forever. So I go over there. I jump
That was like
in.
at least 30 minutes, right?
It was about 25 minutes.
Yeah.
It wasn't as long as like you when you typically go to get a haircut. So I go in there and there's like one pregnant lady and like some chick from the Addams Family. Right. And so they're like, I go in there and they're like, do you have an appointment? And I was like, there's no one in here, dude. No, I was like, no, I didn't make an appointment. I just figured everyone would be shopping. And they're like, okay, well, do you have a preference or anything like that on who you want to cut your hair? And I'm like, no, I really don't.
Somebody good.
Yeah, just give me something good. And they're like, yeah, just a one like on the side or whatever because it grows out like a freaking forest. Yeah, but anyway, it was just funny because he tells me, he goes, you know, we would never see, you know, traffic like this in Menifee. I'm like, yeah, because there's only like 5 or 10 cars out there, you know, and out here, dude, we got like, it was like just everyone and their mother was shopping.
That's LA County, man. You got everybody. You're in the middle of the shit.
Yeah.
You know, but in Menifee, it's like, what, 100 people live out there?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. And I figured, I don't know, it was between that and I thought, you know, everyone's online shopping these days. You know?
Sure.
So I was like, well, it's not going to be as crowded now, and everyone's going to Amazon. You get your little 2-day free shipping.
Yeah, you got Cyber Monday.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm thinking, you know, it should be less crowded, you know, like over the next few years, but it just seemed just as bad. And I, on purpose, did not go to the Cerritos Mall because I figured it'd be even more crowded because it's a much nicer mall where Lakewood's ghetto, dude.
Fuck yeah.
I go in there and I'm just like...
People just camping out to get into Best Buy like the next day to get fucking Call of Duty 9 or something, you know?
Yeah, well, they go there at you know, 4 in the morning, 3 in the morning to get, you know, a couple $100 off a TV.
Yeah.
And
the TV is worth that. But I mean, if you're waiting in front of Walmart, you know, to get $6 off, you know, a pair of freaking Levi's,
off,
dude, then get the hell out of here. Like,
yeah, $10 off the Star Wars DVD. It's like, is your time not worth more than that?
Like, if you're saving $1,000 or more, then yeah, maybe it's, you know, worth standing in line for a couple hours. But overnight, dude, like, do you not work? Like,
yeah.
You know, I mean,
you would sacrifice your
sleep.
sleep
On vacation or something.
Yeah,
but,
and after eating all day, you know, for Thanksgiving with our family, eats like fat pigs, and it's just a whole day of mowing. You know, I don't want to move.
Yeah,
I don't want to move at that hour. You know, especially.
Yeah, so, wine and turkey and. All
that. The only thing I'm going to move is my wrist to order something off of Amazon, which I did, which was a pair of shoes for Dad. And I was like, I still haven't learned my lesson, you know, because he picked those out off of Amazon. And I have been ordering a lot of things off Amazon.
I order on Amazon all the time.
All the time. Well, so do I. But sometimes the thing is, there's certain things on Amazon where it's kind of tricky, because if you buy clothes, you know, or you buy like what I bought, which I was not happy with, which was a wallet, and it was like, you know, it was like, yeah, it was like they assembled it out in like some rice paddy field or something like that, you know. I ordered a leather wallet, and the thing is, it has so many 5-star reviews, mostly 5-star reviews, and I ordered the wallet, and it comes in on Black Friday, and it's like a plastic toy, you know.
It's probably fake leather.
It feels like a cheap plastic, you know. It's got like the little flip up for your ID, like some 90s dad has.
I hate those stupid plastic flip up covers that are inside wallets.
I don't know, dude. It's not a make or break. I just figure you can cut it out with like a little sharp, like a razor blade or something like that.
I mean, have you ever been in the club or somewhere, a bar where you're trying to get your ID out? And you're trying to, your ID, sir. Yeah, let me just get it out of this thing. They make it so tight.
Yeah.
Yeah, just give me 3 days, dude. Let me get this fucking thing out for you.
There's like a hierarchy of like bad wallets. So it starts off at the Velcro wallets, I think. You know.
Yep. Yeah, let me get that for you.
Hey, put my allowance in here.
God, I got my vibrate card in here.
Yeah, and then it probably goes to the flip up ID ones, and then now I'm gonna probably have to go out and get like another leather wallet. But it's like, where do you go for a wallet, you know? And the reason I even updated was because I had this Volcom wallet that just wouldn't die, and now I'm 28 years old. Wow. Yeah, I'm 28, going on 30.
Time to step up that game, dude.
Yeah, dude. I'm like, it's time to step it up. I gotta step up this wallet.
Who the hell's wearing Volcom?
Is it? Oh my god! You know, like, it was like the last time you've seen that was like 2002.
Yeah.
But it's
early
been a while.
2000s. It was a shit.
Yeah, and I remember even like thinking like, man, I'm gonna spend $25 on this wallet, but I'll be honest with you, it probably lasted 4 to 5 years. I've just had it forever, and it wouldn't fall apart. Like so many wallets I've bought before from like Target or something like that, because I would always just like, oh, $20 wallet, $20 wallet. and that shit falls apart, or that leather layer peels off. You know, whereas this one just never did that. It just had that stupid logo of Volcom on there the whole time. Every time I pulled it out after 25, I'm thinking like, this is just an embarrassment. You know, paying a check, you're on a date or whatever, and it's just like, hey, check out my Volcom wallet.
Let me open this wallet.
Yeah. I think
I got it.
No, dude, I definitely saved a. I have a Velcro wallet still, but I don't use it. It's just like in some box. Yeah, it's in a box somewhere where it's just like, just for memories. You know, it's like it's in there with some like band shirts.
Hey kids,
and
look
stuff
at this
like that.
shit.
Yeah, hey, check it out. This is what we used to do.
Yeah, your dad used to open these wallets.
It's right. It's in the same box with like the Razor scooter and the yo-yos.
Your visor.
Yeah, the visor. Was that cool? That was cool.
Visors,
right? Yeah.
We're the shit.
Yeah, visors, man.
My first job at 31 Flavors, I had to wear a fucking visor, dude. Yeah. I think it was purple.
Dude, that's a given though. That if you work at a place like 31 Flavors,
but it was badass
hot dog on a stick.
It was sick though because I could spike my hair. Yeah, and then I could.
You're like,
yeah, straight out of Bellflower.
That's right. We're dropping tricks like Houdini up in this bitch.
Dropping tricks.
Yeah, but look, the stupid visors. I remember those being cool for about 10 minutes. And then after that, they weren't. And then Jason, your buddy Jason.
Oh, Visor Boy, like
2000 or something like that.
Shout out to my boy Jason, Visor Boy.
We still love you, bro. No one's perfect. It's okay.
That shit was orange, bro. He thought it was sick though. He would turn it upside down and then put it on.
Yeah, it was probably as orange as
Damn, that shit's sick, dog. That shit matches my orange jacket, my orange zip-up pants.
Yeah, that was when everyone was dyeing their hair.
Nikes.
You had to have the like that what is it, Pauly D or whatever his name is, the guy from that show with his hair all up like that.
The blowout. That was
the blowout. Yeah,
so that was a blowout.
A blowout. Yeah, you had to dye it. You had to have it straight up, and then if you wanted it to stay like that, you could be an idiot and go buy a bunch of gel and then blow dry it. Or back then, if you wanted to do the spikes all the way around your head, you had to go buy this glue gel. So there was basically like two of them that I know that were good. One was called Ice Spiker.
Ice Spiker, that was the best one ever.
And they still actually sell that. When I was there getting the haircut,
I saw it yesterday.
They're like, "Do you want $3 off product right now?" And I was like, no. And I looked over there and I saw that Ice Spiker and I'm like, damn. Or the Got to Be Glued, which was actually really good. It was
expensive though. It was like $20.
The Ice Spiker was really expensive, right?
Yeah.
Like
15, 20 I remember having to go to like a salon to get it. You couldn't just go to Ralph's and get it. You know, I couldn't get my Labella.
Yeah. Wait, what was the Labella, dude? What's the Labella?
That was the
cheap water gel.
It was a jug. It was a paint jug, a Jello.
Yeah, it was like straight out of Bill Cosby's basement.
You just.
It was just like,
get some Labella. You stick 3 fingers.
It didn't hold. It didn't hold. If you were gonna have your hair up or in any style and you were using Labella, you had to blow dry it because that stuff was practically water that somebody came along and just sprayed one shot of hairspray in. You had to sit there and just blow dry it, dude, or it wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah, it was just cement after like 15 minutes of blow drying in each angle.
Yeah, and then you finish up your hair, then you walk outside, and then when we were growing up, Tommy and I, we would ride our bikes to school. It wasn't that far; it was probably half a mile. But after spending time on your hair like that, and having a mom like ours, she would say, "All right, guys, you need to wear your helmets."
Oh God!
And we resented this. Yeah. So I remember there was what we would do is we would just ride to the corner and then just take the helmets off and throw them in the bush. At who was that? Was it Gene?
At Gene's house. Yeah, we would hide them. Because we lived on a cul-de-sac.
She would watch us to go to the end of the block, but wearing our helmets.
And sometimes your hair would still be a little fucked up, but it was still wet enough for you to kind of fix it up a little bit.
Yeah.
And then when we would get home,
there was one day where we're like, man, I was not feeling going to school that day. I was like, what you would do is you would show up late or tardy, and we used to call in sick for each other. You know, it'd be like, oh yeah, Tommy's not feeling good. Or you called me like, remember that? Remember? Oh my God, I remember you called in for me.
Yeah.
We were just calling ourselves, be like, hey, he's not coming into school today.
I ain't feeling that.
Yeah, with some really bad falsetto, trying to sound like mom. And I remember we ditched, and we were like, we're not going to school today. Forget this. So we throw our helmets under the bush, and then we ride our bikes to a donut shop. And We're sitting there. We eat donuts, and it's been like 2 hours. We can't go home because Mom's there.
Yeah.
We don't have money to go anywhere else. We don't have cars. And then we're like, all right, well, it's been 2 hours. Let's just go to school. And I remember going, dude, and not having a note or anything to be like, hey, this explains why I'm late. And they're like, all right, well, this is gonna go on your record, And I'm like, what's the record? They're like, oh, we just write it down. You didn't come in
It
late.
gets filed into this file that nobody looks at.
Yeah, believe me, as a 14-year-old or 13-year-old, just little white kid, you probably have the thinnest record here at Bellflower High School in the early 2000s, man. One of the that was the first year I remember that when I was in 9th grade, the first year that they had the ROTC and everything like that.
Yeah, retarded outsiders teaching children. I remember that program.
Dude, yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was a retarded outsiders because we had this guy and his name was Captain Niemela, and then Sergeant. God, what was his name? I don't know, whatever it was.
I'm not gonna drop names.
I can't even drop the name because he couldn't even pronounce it. He was a retard, and he would just be like, "All right." He would call it. There would be squad leaders that you would.
My name is Private Gimbo.
Yeah, there would be squad leaders that you would vote in, and he would call them squash leaders. He just couldn't. It's just the squash leaders are gonna get to the family. Okay, and they're gonna do some push-ups, and you're gonna go outside. We're gonna do some marching drills, and God, we used to take it so seriously when we were in high school, in 9th grade. They're gonna shave your head, and
military.
Like that. Yeah, we're playing like Battlefield Tank or whatever on the computers, and just it was good times. So our ROTC was like Army ROTC. You were in ROTC too, right?
I was, yeah. I was in Air Force ROTC for about...
What's the difference? A blue uniform, right?
Yeah.
That's about it?
Yeah, I still did it for like half a year.
And I remember... Wait, was that was at Mayfair?
Mayfair,
right?
yeah.
That was at a different school, okay. Yeah, I remember that, dude. I remember when you got in there and then you started bringing all those ROTC girls around.
Yeah.
It was like Tanya and...
They're like, oh, the new guy.
Yeah, he's the new white guy.
He's so hot.
Yeah, he's 6'5"
Yeah.
or 6'1", and then he had his hair
He had
dyed.
his uniform on. Jesus, yeah.
Those were good times, man.
Those
I remember
were
when
good
you bring them over. We had our PS2 hooked up. We're like, hey, what's up?
Yeah, what's up? Let me turn this Linkin Park up higher.
Dude,
Let me turn on my fog machine, dude.
I'm shocked. There's a few people in my life where, or a few bands. I've seen a lot of the acts that I've really liked, a lot of classic rock, and half of them I can't even see because they're all dead. Mm-hmm. Or they have some half-ass lineup of like not the original singer and some other guy they found on MySpace or something like that. That's a true story with Boston, the band Boston that sings "Peace of Mind" and "More Than a Feeling." Went and saw them and they found a guy off of MySpace because their singer died or whatever. But anyway, Linkin Park though, I never saw them, and I always thought, man, I gotta see these guys, But those albums back in the day, man, those were that was the shit, man.
Yeah.
And there was a Hybrid Theory and just screaming, I wanna run away and never say goodbye. I wanna run away. Yeah, man. They had two singers. For those of you who don't know about Linkin Park. Because I don't even know, I can't even gauge, who our audience is, because we have a huge audience by our third show. But if you're a teenager and you don't know about Linkin Park, go check it out. Go check out their first two albums, Hybrid Theory and Meteor. And if you're 25 or older, you're the whole story. The most iconic song that Linkin Park did was probably, I'd say, In the End or Numb, or probably their two biggest songs. Yeah, maybe In the End, right? Or Numb. But anyway, I saw him in the video and he's like, do, 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 do.
Dude.
What?
Have you heard Linkin Bark? Dude.
What's that?
So they take that song. For those of you guys that have listened to Linkin Park Numb, you know what I'm talking about. But they took these dog voices and they put it all together. I'm going to play it for you. It sounds so funny.
Are you playing it?
Fucking dogs. Look. Look, dude.
Yeah. It's like that. It's like the smallest dog too. Try to be what you want me to be.
That's so awesome, dude. Some people have way too much time.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? What's one thing I do miss though? I do cause it was funny because they had a little dachshund on there. Annie, dude. And she was alive.
We had one dog in our whole life while living together as kids. And
There are two
Annie.
more of us. There's another,
There.
you know, and that's not our parents. That's our little sisters.
Yeah.
Big family. Seventh heaven, right?
Seventh Heaven family without all the drama and all of the comedy.
We just never got caught.
We just never got paid.
Yeah, they didn't like they get caught for something in like every episode, or someone's pregnant.
Simon was caught smoking.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Who gives a shit?
That was every episode.
That was early fucking TV where it was like, you know, the more family values kind of.
But you know you were on the edge of your seat every Monday
Dude,
night.
is he gonna get caught?
Yeah.
Simon.
What was the older
F
brother
word.
or something? What was his name?
Simon, I think, was a little kid, right? Little blonde kid.
Yeah, that was a little kid, but the older brother was like Judd or something like that, and then there was like 5 sisters, 6 sisters. It was like the Brady Bunch.
Remember Jessica Biel?
But it was like, yeah, it was like, Jessica Biel, and
she's really like the only one that made it out of that group. I feel like.
yeah, dude, I can't remember. I think she did a few movies. I remember one of them got canceled, and then I'm serious. That was like one of her. It was supposed to be like some big movie, but it was with I think it was with Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yeah.
A name we haven't heard in a while, but you know, I don't think that they probably released it like straight to DVD or straight to VHS at that point.
Dude, do you remember that little girl, Ruthie? They played
Yeah,
Mackenzie.
Ruthie McKenzie.
She's in
no,
fucking-
her name was just Ruthie.
Dude, she's in Maxim. Holy shit! Look at her.
From 7 Angles too, huh?
She's hot.
What's she doing? Yeah, but she
Dude,
just feel
shout out
I
to
just
that
feel
little-
I just feel guilty looking at it. It's like,
I know,
It's like,
because it's like a
you
little-
were in Seventh Heaven.
Oh
I
yeah,
just
you're
wanna
that
leave
little
you in
girl.
that box.
Holy shit, you're hot now.
Yeah, because she was like, what, 4?
Yeah, dude, a little curly hair
Turn
too.
that shit off, dude. Turn that off, dude.
That's
Just
funny.
pull up Jessica Biel, so you'll get something better anyway. That girl's got a big fat face. That
Fat
Mackenzie
ass,
girl.
man.
She looks like a freaking like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man or something. Nice body.
Killer body.
Yeah, but that kid with this bowl cut. I remember I had a bowl cut, man.
Jessica Biel though, bro.
Nah, but remember that bowl cut though? That sick ass bowl cut?
Dude, bowl cuts were the shit, bro.
There was a time. It was like Moses parting the Red Sea. You had to have a bowl cut.
You had a big old mushroom cut for a while, huh?
Dude,
You had the-
yeah, it
you
was
had
like a
the-
helmet,
you had the
man.
long-
It was,
helmet,
it was
yeah.
a full-on helmet, man, and it was all crooked in the back, you know. So it was a full-on bowl cut, but it was like a wavy bowl, you know,
Yeah.
along the perimeter because it was not professionally done. It was done by it was a mom's bowl cut, you know. And if
She put a cereal bowl around the top of it and go.
you know, dude,
on the edges.
here's like a traumatizing memory for you. I remember the night Dad bought wall trimmers, and he brought them back to the house.
Who wants haircuts?
Yeah, no. Yeah, our hair was getting long. It was like towards the end of summer. We needed haircuts, and they bought that like what do you call it? The apron that you wear when you get what is it that you wear when you're getting?
It's like a
haircut?
bib.
Yeah,
Like
it's like
a-
I don't know,
yeah.
whatever you call it, the cover. It
Shield.
was like covered in like parrots and like all these tropical.
right.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, our dad always had Hawaiian shirts on anyway. So
Yeah,
that's
maybe it
perfect.
was just one of his shirts. Who knows?
Oh, he was
And,
like,
maybe-
oh,
yeah,
this
maybe-
Hawaiian shirt cover comes with these
it was
wall
parka.
cutters.
Yeah, it was
Oh, I'll
probably
take
some.
it.
It was probably
$49.99.
yeah.
Can
a
I get a
Hawaiian
discount?
parka. He bought a Hawaiian parka and then he didn't like it, so he's like, cut their hair with this on.
They're like, sir, these cutters are $40. $40? Can you do it for $20? Sir, it comes with this free apron
Well, now you just got to pay me
with
to
parrots
take it.
on it. I'll take it.
Yeah, no, but I remember, getting our haircuts and he's like, all right, what kind of haircut do you want? And then
That's our dad voice impression. Hey.
Yeah.
So if
by the way,
if you guys ever hear us say,
All right.
"Hey, come here,"
Yeah.
that's kind of like our impression of our dad. So,
But they
Dad,
would,
if you're listening, I love you. Hey,
but
get your straight.
they would. I remember that day though, and I remember he tried to give us a cool haircut.
Yeah.
You know, or what we wanted, but
He's
it
like, what are you
just
thinking? To flip it up to the side?
it just turned out so bad that he got frustrated and he ripped that little like size like 4 or 5 off, and he just
practicing
buzzed our
on us.
heads. He buzzed our heads, dude. And
Yeah.
we were both running around like little skinheads, you know?
yeah,
On our
neo
bikes.
Nazis.
Yeah, we were running around, we were on our bikes hanging out with Jay Larson, and we had our little walkie-talkies. But anyway, so we had these like little stupid skinhead haircuts, and after so many years of that, there was the occasion that you would get to go to a barber, and there had to be a special event coming up, man.
Yep.
Like
Pictures.
it's got to be like a funeral,
A
pictures,
sports event.
and if that's the case, you're getting a haircut, but you're not just getting a haircut. You're going to this specific place. It's in Lakewood, California. It was called Herman's Barbershop. It was over off of Carson and Los Coyotes. And if you were going to get a haircut, this wasn't going to be a little hour haircut like I got a few days ago. This was going to be an event. And you were going to be in there for a few hours. You go in there, and this guy named Herman, he would ask you, what do you want? What kind of haircut do you want?
That guy's been cutting, but our hair, our dad's hair, and our grandpa's hair, rest in peace, he was cutting his hair too.
And he's been cutting the same haircut for the last 50 years because you'd go in there and you ask for, hey, I want the same size or I want this cool new haircut. And he would always give you the same damn flat top.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Hey, let me get a full hook. Yeah, flat top.
Yeah, I gotta get a flat top. Get a flat top. And
I was thinking about shaving the whole thing. Yeah, flat top sounds great.
And then, so you got Herman, and then you got these it was just a place where all these old fat pigs would hang out. And they're all sitting there with some magazine.
It was like the white version of Barbershop, the movie.
Yeah, and then they had they had some NRA magazine sitting there, one from every month for the last 5 years.
Say, Jeffro, what do you think about last week's gun and ammo magazine?
Oh, they really liked that beer on the 870 Remington.
I was down with the
He's got a vein
range.
coming out of his neck. Yeah, and so Herman, he after he was done with his flat top, though, he wasn't necessarily done with his conversation with Pops, because he even cut Pops' hair. And he would just keep shaving your neck. I remember there was this one time we were in there. He would finish the haircut, and then he'd take the razor off and go, I'm going to shave all the hair off your neck, because when you're 12 or 13 years old, you got just a ton of peach fuzz all over your neck that they got to take it off, right? And he's there for 30 minutes, just up and down on the neck, and I'm like, hey, I think you're done. He goes, shut up. And so he just keeps talking to Dad, and this is their way to, racking up the tip or whatever. And finally, I remember when we were old enough to, actually, when we were just 18, period, it was like, hey, you're on your own. You're paying for everything now. Rent, you're gonna pay for all, you want to go out with your friends, nothing, insurance, cell phones, everything. You're on your own. And which I'm glad he did that, because it taught me a lot. But I'm thinking to myself, well, I can't afford to go get a haircut. I'm working as a security guard, or I'm working at some yard or something like that, cutting metal. And so I go to Target and I buy the wall trimmers. And I just couldn't cut my own hair. I tried so many times, and I would just end up doing all one size, which at that time wasn't so bad because you did a 4 or a 3 and you just spiked the whole thing.
There's no way you could do a step-up haircut by yourself without taking some kind of fucking barber school or something.
Dude, you can't.
But they would have
you get to the back, and you're like, nah,
that ain't no way. There's no way.
Because and it probably even takes. They're cutting on mannequins or whatever they're doing. It takes years to master that.
Dude, Dad, check it out. I just made a Nike swoosh in my head. Dude, that's a W.
Yeah. Oh yeah. What were you going for there? He was like, now you look like one of Jerry's kids, and he's just like, and then he'd cut it all down to one size, man, because he couldn't get it right. But you can't blame him. I think he only did that once, shaved our heads. We looked like the neo-Nazis on the block. And then after that, Mom cut her hair, and then she would take her time, and God bless her, you'd have one sideburn an inch higher than the other.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, take my time here, and
your haircut is great.
that's why I was smart about it. And I grew out the bowl cut. I saw it on TV in the 90s. I was like, I'm gonna grow my bowl cut out.
Dude, I shaved my head for a good 4 years, remember? I used to shave.
When you were big.
When I was fat, yeah.
So there was something there, you're like, not only do I want to eat, but I don't want to take the time to cut my hair.
I feel like when you're fat, when I was fat, and when I had a nice haircut, it just made my head look that much bigger. So I felt like when I shaved my head, my head looked more smaller, and I don't know, I felt less fat. So I grew out then I started when I started getting a double chin, bro, that's when I started growing out the beard.
No, see, but if you actually, it would look like that at first, which is the awkward stage, but if you actually grew it out long enough, then you could just have it like just some sinister haircut that came down your face and just covered your cheeks. You just be peeking out of one eye like Who Killed Kenny or whatever. Just be like, if I know my fat. But dude, you lost all that weight in a matter of less than a year, right?
I lost 80 pounds in 8 months.
Are you listening, Jenny and Craig? Let's make a deal.
No, dude, diet and exercise, honestly.
Just picked up cigarettes and that was it, huh?
I was like, hey, I can lose some weight, faggot.
Yeah, dude. I remember, but some of the funniest shit was the diet blocker pill or something like that.
Carb blocker.
Or a carb blocker.
Blue blockers.
Yeah. It's gonna
Yeah.
block 150 calories or something
Block
like that.
150 calories. Take all 1,000 of these and have a block your whole pizza.
Yeah.
Blocking it from what? Like, what is there? Just like little medicine down there, like little boxers. You can't stay here.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I felt like
That was a gimmick pill. I feel like
Oh, totally.
that was a.
That's like tarot cards.
I don't want to drop any names.
Cleo.
Emily.
Yeah, Mrs. Cleo garbage. You know, it's just like it's people believe in stuff.
The
they wanna
cards
believe
don't
it.
lie, Miss Cleo. The cards don't lie. I do.
Dude, what happened to that lady?
Miss Cleo, dude.
Yeah.
Remember that shit in the 90s?
Oh, I remember. That was probably
Honey,
into the 2000s.
what are you doing today? Do you want to know your future? Call me 1-800 Miss Cleo.
Yeah, there's no way you're getting her on the line. Because she had a commercial in like every 10 minutes. If
Dude,
you
she
ended
was
up
popping back then.
Yeah, if you ended up on any
I
like,
tell all kinds of futures today. You get a future tell. You get a future tell. You get a future tell.
yeah, and she would come on at the worst times and late at night, you know, because back in the day, we would be up in our rooms like perverts waiting for the Girls Gone Wild commercials to come on. It was like 2 in the morning. We'd be like, oh, dude, check it out, Girls Gone Wild. They're
Holy shit, you
advertising
can't
it.
see shit's all blurred out, but who
Do you
gives a
remember
shit?
that? You'd
Yeah.
wait up just to watch the Girls Gone Wild commercial
I think-
on at like 2 o'clock, and it'd be like a half an hour segment, and then Miss Cleo would come on and just
Oh,
talk
yeah,
about
dude.
it.
As a young guy, dude, the wall can turn you on.
There was this one just hilarious night where I came home, and my dad calls me in the room, and he's got this disc, and it's a a little nudie disc or whatever, and he's like, "Hey, where'd this come from?" And I was like, "I don't know, it's not mine." So he found it. He told me he found it on the divider in our house, and
Let me Quentin Tarantino and back the story up.
yeah back.
I bought some porn when I was like 18 from a liquor store, of course. Brought it home, watched it. I was like, "Oh, that was crazy." And then I was just like, "I gotta get rid of this shit." So I'm getting ready for school. I leave it on the divider so I could remember to throw it away. And it's like, okay, perfect. I will see that for sure before I leave. So I get ready for school, and I jam out of the house. And I didn't remember to see that disc right there. And it was just right there on the top for everybody to see.
So I think that was probably while I was still at Bellflower High.
Yeah.
And I came home after I would work after school, and then I would go home. And so that was when Dad called me in the room, and he's like, he's holding the disc, and he's spinning it around his finger and everything. He's like, you know where this came from? I knew where it came from. I know, I'd seen it myself, and I knew where, but it was just like,
He was like, I watched this. I watched it 3 times, but
and I was like, I don't know, it was not mine. He goes, where was it? So it's gotta be Tommy's. And I'm like, well, I don't know. And he's like, well, where was it before? And so I'm acting like I don't know shit, but yet I know where it's like hidden and everything. So I like show him where we hid it behind. I show him that we had it hidden behind
our
a
fucking
file cabinet, that metal file cabinet we had in our room.
We just slipped that
And
shit
then
right behind.
I showed him, not thinking that there was another magazine back there. So right when I'm like showing him this other it was a mag fell out.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right.
No,
all
it was
right.
a disc. It was a disc that fell out.
Or it was no, he found the disc, but then he had a magazine too. Whatever, you used to buy that shit at
I had a
like
little porn
7-Eleven and
stash.
everything. Yeah.
So my brother basically sold me out of my porn stash.
No, I didn't. I actually did not. Hey, that shit didn't come out of thin air, and I just told him I didn't know where it came from. But anyway, we basically all that.
I
stuff,
don't know where it came from.
All-
It just appeared
Yeah,
here.
it just popped up. But the
Don't look at my credit card statements.
the shitty thing about this is, in the last show we were talking about how we had saved up our money and all of our allowances for PlayStations and TVs and everything. That was all gone, and a lot of our freedoms and everything were gone after
Shut
that
us
point.
the fuck down.
Basically, just electronics or anything in media.
Yeah,
And,
anything that was
it.
cool that we liked, no.
Yeah, you're done.
Gone.
Go back outside and play in the dirt, or jump on the pogo stick, or that was it.
Go play tetherball, faggot.
Yeah, that's pretty much what he said.
Dude, speaking of tetherball, is it still in elementary schools? Like, are kids still playing tetherball? Do you know?
Well, no, dude, I'm not a pedophile. I don't go hang out. I don't go hang out.
Let's go check the elementary school right now. It's dark and raining. My brother and I, we used to pretend those things were a person that we hated. And we would listen to Linkin Park. We would listen to Linkin Park. We'd pretend it was somebody we hated. Or if we thought it was like our worst enemy, then we'd pretend it was their face. And, the pain we took out of that Mr. Tetherball was great.
Hold on.
Do kids not have outlets?
Hold on. Wait, before you move on, dude, I gotta say this. I remember when we first got that tetherball court, and Dad had it set up in the backyard, and it wasn't just like one that he had professionally installed. It was a tire with the cement, and it had the poles sticking up. And we had a tetherball in our backyard. And during the summertime, he would barbecue like every other day. He'd have like tiki torches lit and everything like that.
I love tiki torches, dude.
Holy shit, man.
When I get a house, I need tiki torches in my life.
Well, so he would be barbecuing. He'd like throw down on some burgers and everything, and he'd be just far enough to where the tetherball ball in its circumference couldn't hit the barbecue. So it's just far enough,
Right.
so that he could simultaneously barbecue and play me tetherball while he was doing that. And he used to mess with my head, man.
He would dominate you.
He would just like hit it, and you're at that time you're like what 5 foot or whatever, and he would hit it all the way to the point where he was just about to win.
So loud.
Yeah, what is that?
That's my monster neighbor taking a shower.
Yeah,
That
but
fucking piglet up there.
he would wait until he was just about to win, and then I would give up hope, and he would stop and be like, he would act like he would all of a sudden have to turn the burgers and be like, oh.
Yeah.
They'd turn around and I'd be like, oh, this is my chance. So I would be hitting that ball as fast as I could.
As much as you can.
Bam, 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 bam. And it'd be spinning around
Probably
that
like a
pole, and I'd be
6-foot
like,
rope
I'm gonna
or
win, I'm
something?
gonna win. And then he would wait until I was just about to win too, and then he would turn from the barbecue.
Yeah,
And
just
he would
one hit.
He'd block your last hit. And one more rotation. I was done. I was right there, man. And I remember that, but it would go on and on and on, and
Slow
finally,
motion.
yeah, finally
One
at the
thing.
end.
Boof. One of his big monkey paws.
Yeah,
that little
it
ball.
was more than a monkey paw, dude. That thing
like
was
a
like
gorilla paw.
shoot. That was like, yeah, it was a full
One
on
hit.
claw.
Dude, that thing was just like shoot,
Like, hey.
all the way up until it was tight up that ball against all the way wrapped around.
Tetherball was no joke though. I remember when
Ain't no joke, fam.
when I was in
Motherfucker,
elementary
10
school,
ball.
there was you got to play, and if you won, you would just keep playing until you suck, and then some other huge kid that was taller than you beat you,
Yeah.
or some stronger
Those were the
kid,
days.
some 5th grader or 6th grader, whoever's above you, and they had a whole other year to build up their freaking pythons,
Yeah.
and so.
Those were the days, dude.
There was
Tetherball.
this one kid, dude, who just was not developing, and I remember it was so much fun to play on this poor kid named Andy, this little Asian kid. And I remember,
Poor Andy.
it wasn't like, it was sad that he would always
Buzz doesn't
lose,
wanna
but
play
he
with
would
you.
try, dude. You'd see him out there on those tetherball courts every day. Andy's always trying to beat someone. And this poor little kid, man, little Chinese baby, he was out there.
Shout out to Chinese babies.
He was out there with those little tiny marshmallow arms, just trying to win something. And I think finally he won one day. I remember watching him win one day, and just being like, "You go, Andy! Good job, bro!
Good job, dude.
You
Here's
got
a
it,
couple
man."
noodles, bro.
Man, I think he grew a few inches that day.
But Thanksgiving, guys, we just had at our parents' house. I spent half the day at my parents' house, and then the other half with my wife's side of the family. So that was kind of fun. And I had so many leftovers that I just keep eating and eating. So it's like my Thanksgiving dinner of
Story of my life.
mashed potatoes, gravy, all that shit. It's like every day. So I guarantee I have gained all 80 pounds that I put off back on.
I don't know about that, dude.
Pretty close.
You probably put on like 10 more pounds.
I have probably put on 10
Ever
pounds
since I
this
got a
month.
desk job, I've gained like probably 10 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
That's real shit, though.
Oh, for sure.
And I
Because
feel
you're not
it.
moving around.
Yeah.
When I worked at the gym,
I'm moving around like 2 hours.
when I worked at the gym, dude, I was working out while I was there, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it really depends where you work, what you do, what is your profession, and that's going to determine,
what you look
5
like.
days a week, if you're working 8 to 12 hours a day, what kind of shape are you in? Because that's a huge chunk. Then you add, what you're sleeping every day, and that doesn't leave a lot of other time. That's time where you're doing, just stuff around the house or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Your hobbies, like podcasting. We're still sitting here like fat pigs.
Yeah.
But
Still drinking brews.
I remember right when I got out of high school, and I was still fat, dude. And one of my first jobs was working at this place called Carlson Mechanical. I just wanted to do something cool, And I remember David, he was working at a machine shop.
Who's David?
David Taylor.
Oh, your friend David. That's right.
Yeah. Well, he was in Scouts with
Scout
us
friends.
when we were
That's
kids back in the day. So his name was David Taylor. We used to call him DT. So
DT, shout out.
He's a truck driver now, so he might be out there somewhere listening.
might be out there listening,
He's in
dude.
Pennsylvania or something right now.
What's he driving?
I don't know. He's driving a deuce and a half for all I know.
Driving me crazy from not knowing what he's driving.
Now I don't know who he's driving.
Shout out,
for.
David. What's up?
What's up, David? DT, we love you, man. The story's about you. So
Keep carrying whatever you're carrying to whatever that place you're carrying that shit to.
So I'm kicking it with DT one day, and I said, DT, man, I just quit my job, man. I'm looking for a gig. And he's like, well, that's funny, bro, because I work over at a machine shop in Signal Hill, this place called Carlson Mechanical, and we're looking for an extra guy. I was like, an extra guy to do what? And he's like, well, you just kind of have to cut I-beams all day, and pick up scrap off the ground, throw it in the trash can, and at 18 years old, he was 17. I think he was a senior. So during the summertime, he was working 3 days a week, and they were looking for someone to work full time. Mm-hmm. So I go down there. I don't even call, dude. And I find the owner of this business. His name is Tim Carlson. And I say, hey, I'm wearing a nice dress shirt. I'm like, hey, I'm looking for a job, and just kind of not working right now. And he goes, all right, when can you start? I said, well, I could start today. I just said that and he goes, well, why don't you go home, get some rugged jeans, get some old shirt you don't care about, and come back in the morning. And this was the owner. His name was Tim Carlson. So I called David. I'm like, this is like my first cell phone I got. And I'm like, hey, what's up, bro? I got the job. He's like, yeah, cool, man. Well, so he's only working Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I got this full-time gig. But there was one day that our schedules overlapped, which was like a Wednesday or whatever. Mm-hmm. And they were working on this one special project because they would manufacture pieces for like ships and everything. Mm-hmm. And they were putting together the business was putting together this one piece, and they would have like I-beams, and they would have like special metal pieces that they would have like guys come in and weld together and do all this metal work. And there was these little tiny, they were like square metal pieces that they would use to like weld two pieces together. Mm-hmm. And this one had to be like a certain shape or something like that, and it had like a little hole in the very center of it. And they were putting this big, just piece together. They were piecing it all together, and they were bringing it together. And they can't find this one. And Tim comes over and he goes, hey, we're looking for this one little piece, the square, weld piece that with the little hole in the middle. Or he goes, no, hey, guys, we're looking for that little square piece with the hole in the middle. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking, okay, what does that have to do with me? Because it was just something him and the other guys were working on. And I'm over here sweeping and stuff. And he goes, you guys didn't see it, it's like we're putting this thing together, we can't find it. And I said, no, I mean, we didn't touch what you guys are working on. And so they had this one guy named Bob. He had one tooth in his mouth, and he comes over.
Hey, and, Bob.
Yeah, He's
what's up?
He was this Hispanic guy, and he's like, hey, I know you guys were sweeping over here. I know you guys were sweeping over here. You guys didn't sweep it up, did you? Put it in the trash can by accident. So Bob's over there. He's popping off and everything like that. And Tim comes over and he says, hey, I want you and David to jump in the trash can and look for that piece. Because I know you guys swept it up. And so, it ain't going to be the end of my life if I can't find this piece and I get fired for some stupid reason. Because he was yelling at us, man. We're like kids. So we're in the trash can. And I remember I got out. We couldn't find it, right? He comes over to us and he's like, hey, you guys can't find it. We're like, no, we can't find it. And he's just convinced basically at this point that we swept it up at some time that day. And so our uniform and what they would wear all had a little pocket in the front. And so it's just him and Bob. They're giving us a hard time because we can't find it. So I jump out of the trash can and I say, well, did you guys check your pockets? And I ain't worried about getting canned. Who cares? I wasn't thinking about that. I was just at that point in life where I just thought that was what came to my head. Did you check your pockets? And they look at each other like, can you believe what you just heard? what is this kid saying? You know, like,
Yeah.
hey, and they look at each other. Hey, Tim, did you check your pocket? I don't know, Bob. Did you check your pocket? Hey, we might have it on us. He's like, no, keep looking around. And so, you know, it's like, you dumbass kids. You asked me if I haven't looked in my pocket. So they end up coming to the conclusion that they have to find, or they're just going to have to cut that piece again. And it's almost like the end of the day that day. Bob comes up to me. And he goes, you made, oh, I got to tell you something. He goes, and he pulls a piece out of his pocket. He has it, man. He was the one giving me a hard time. And I was like, where'd you find that? And he goes, it's in my pocket. And I was like, why didn't you say it? He's like, shh, you're not going to tell Tim. You're not going to tell no one. So he walks outside and he goes, you're not going to tell anybody. I guess I ain't going to get canned. Chucks it, dude, like into the scrapyard. Thinking we'll never find it, right? It's like, no, man, we just dug through a trash can. We're going to find that piece now. So he chucks it, man. David found it, you know, like on his own time. And he ended up wrapping it up and giving it to me for my birthday one year.
No, he didn't.
He did, dude. He wrapped it up and gave it to me for my birthday.
That's awesome.
And so I still actually have it too. It was the piece, man. He'll text me like once every like 5 years. Hey man, remember the piece? I'll be like, yeah, man, I remember the piece. And I hope he's out there. I hope he hears this, man.
David Peace Taylor.
Yeah, man. He had that piece, dude. He wrapped it up for my birthday.
That's so funny.
Bless his heart.
Did you get anything for Black Friday?
Did I buy anything?
Yesterday, yeah.
Yeah, I bought your gift for Christmas, so I can't even say it right
Did we
now.
go over that shit already?
Huh?
Did we go over that already?
You didn't ask me that question. I did. I went to Target, and after I got the
So
gift,
I was your Secret Santa, huh?
I'll never tell. So quit asking.
I'm gonna give it right back.
You gotta
to
wait
you,
till
fucker.
Christmas, man. You're gonna bust into that. It used to be Christmas Eve.
Oh,
and you're
great! Somebody's shopping at Rite Aid.
yeah, we have a family tradition where we get to open one gift on Christmas Eve. So you're gonna go there and shake them, I'm guessing, and listen for the liquid sound. And you're like, yeah, I want to open this one.
This one's definitely not shampoo, dude.
Yeah, it's not shampoo, man.
I'll take that one, dude.
I wouldn't even doubt if I got something like that though this year, like shampoo, or because I'm moving in 2 weeks. So everything on my Christmas list is so when I move, it's gonna be December 15th. So it's gonna be before Christmas. So before I'm in there, I don't want to send like, hey, I want this exact thing from Amazon because I'm not there to take measurements and everything. And I know especially like for something like the microwave where it has to actually hang above the sink. And it has like this little inlet. You have to buy that and put it up there.
Okay.
So I wouldn't want to like write down, hey, go get me a microwave, and I wouldn't know what to get. But there's other things. Yeah. Huh?
They're all pretty standard.
Microwaves?
I mean, dude.
Those shits come in every size,
look,
bro.
I mean, you're not gonna find some 4-foot microwave, like, you know.
Dude, you'd be surprised, man. Some of that shit from the 80s and 90s is big.
The 80s, dude. Where are you shopping?
That's just what you see in
Thrift store,
houses
bro.
these days, bro. That's just what you
Oh
see.
yes, Amazon's got this new 9-foot.
Well, that's the thing
fucking-
about the microwaves, man. They last forever.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like some people, they just never get rid of it because it just never breaks, you know?
Those things, yeah. You replace a microwave every 10 years. That's how you know you're getting old.
Toilet paper.
You're not asking for clothes or
Yeah.
video games or electronics. You're like, I need some new lamps in my living room.
I need an ironing board and some
Maybe some sheets.
Scotch.
Sheets would be nice.
Yeah, some Scotch
Something with some
ironing spray
high fit
and
count.
ironing board.
a vacuum.
Yeah, it's but you also love to get those things as an adult because it's like, oh, there's $150, that's $100 right there. I just saved
Money you
this.
don't have to spend.
That's right.
You know,
Because you would have to spend that anyway.
for sure.
Whereas you get a couple DVDs you like or movies that you like.
I'm gonna
and
get you something you don't need this year, like a George Foreman or something.
I'll take it, dude. You know. I mean, I have a stove and I have an oven and I'll have a fridge, of course, but
That's good.
microwave oven. Ooh,
Some
I got
air
a microwave
conditioning,
oven.
dude, air
Got an
conditioning.
air conditioner. That's right.
Wow, look at you.
Moving
dude.
up in the
I don't
world.
even have an air conditioner.
Yeah, dude, I'm moving up in the world. That's right.
Yeah.
Your living room is much bigger than mine, though.
Yeah.
I mean, my living room probably goes to where your carpet ends.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Nah, a little bigger than that. It's only 650 square feet, but it's just me right now.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, mine's 7,000 square feet.
Maybe I'm thinking by episode 8 or 9, we should be recording at least one at my house.
Yeah.
You know, because
And we're going to be releasing these delayed. So
Yeah.
if we're talking about Black Friday and it's freaking
Summer.
Easter, it's Easter time, you know. Dude, I need to upgrade my phone to the new series. I was watching last night with our brother-in-law. It was funny, too, because he was just ragging on, like, all the speakers that Apple had. You know, there's, like, this one guy that came out and he was talking about, like, we were talking about how, like, Steve Jobs might be rolling in his grave at this point. Because every time he would come out, there would be some, like, hey, now there's a new spin button on the iPod. You know, guess what? Now we're doing a phone. And guess what? Now you can talk and text and you can be on the internet at the same time. It's a revolutionary thing. And now Steve Jobs is gone and they got this guy with like some muffin top, you know, and his butt tight shirt on a iPhone 7 commercial or a they do a conference every year.
Yeah.
And he's talking about Mario Brothers, dude. And they have Yoshimoto or whatever his name is, the guy who made Mario Brothers. He was on there, and God bless his heart, because we all know Super Mario Brothers and Mario on the Nintendo was super fun back in the day. But I liked it the first time I saw it in like 1994,
Absolutely.
or you know, or the early 90s when I first saw Mario.
I mean, these guys are just thinking about money right now, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You know, obviously he's gonna have a different vision than Steve Jobs had.
Well,
Steve Jobs
the
had
thing is,
one vision.
they were sitting there talking about one specific app that they did not develop. Nintendo developed. That's the thing. That's the point. Is that
They're just
their
riding
big
on
thing
someone
is
else's
somebody else's
success.
big thing. You know, like if we hope that this app blows up and it's on our phone, but Nintendo developed that, or Yoshimoto or whatever, and so there's nothing necessarily about their phone. And as a matter of fact, they've actually backtracked on a few settings from the 6, and even I was doing a 5S comparison, which I still have a 5S, man. I'm old school at this point.
You and I both, dude. Look at mine. Same phone. It's ashy. It needs lotion.
Dude, and I've dropped this thing so many times.
I know, dude. Look at
I'm
mine.
surprised it has not cracked.
Dude, I've never, ever, 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 knock on wood, fucking cracked a phone.
Never.
Until I was ordering Uber
like
one
something you
night
would
when
see
I was
every day.
wasted. And I said, "Here, babe, order me a fucking
You have to
Uber."
go like this. You have to hold it like that and then throw
And it
straight
has a case
in
on
the
it.
cement.
And my wife
During
still
summertime.
managed to drop this shit on the corner
Yeah.
of the damn cement of a bench while we're ordering an Uber.
Mm-hmm.
And it just hit the right corner of the screen and just cracked it all down. So,
Yeah, that looks pretty bad.
Yeah.
I would have upgraded that shit by now.
Yeah.
Because it didn't just crack your screen, it cracked your case, right?
no.
Oh wait, no. That's just
Can't
how
crack a
it's shaped.
case, you
That
tard.
thing looks like this thing looks totaled though.
Dude, when you text on it, it hurts your fingers.
Why? Because there's little cracks?
Yeah.
What are you cutting your finger out?
Eventually, yeah.
Why are you hurting yourself like that?
Because I'm emo.
What do you have, a Batman background on your phone? What is that?
Straight up fire.
Looking back a year from now, I won't even recognize myself. I'm going to become the legend I was born to be.
You're goddamn right I am.
What are you, Neil Young? Cat Stevens?
It's a good quote. I transformed myself in 2016. I transformed myself from being a whale to a good-looking human being.
Well, you were before. I think you just got fat, dude. I
True.
think there's a lot of, like, you'll see, especially with women, you know when a woman who's fat looks good underneath. You're like, I know there's a good, hot,
Girl out there that's just
yeah,
super
you know,
bomb.
like, you see beyond the blubber. You know, she's hiding in there. You're
on
like,
the blubber.
yeah, you take that fat suit off and let's see who's under there.
Unzip that
and then
shit,
you
shallow
love,
Hal.
yeah, and then you love when they lose it all, you know, because you're like, that's what I want to see, you know.
Dude, when I lost all that weight, my wife was just saying, you know?
Mm-hmm.
She's just like, who's this new guy walking around the house butt naked?
Yeah.
Cellulite, not all hanging around his waistband.
Because you popped the question when you were popping your jeans at the same time.
Hey, I was like, pop this collar, pop everything, dude. Yeah, my jeans were popping. The shit was popping back then, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was a fat ass when I proposed.
We've all been there, bro. I'm not necessarily a fat
I
ass.
said,
You're,
"Hey,
you're
you
definitely not,
baby."
you're definitely not a fat ass
I
anymore.
want to have instead of having a chocolate fondue fountain at our wedding, we're going to have it's going to be gravy.
This is how much of a fat ass you were. Because I remember this one night that we were all hanging out over here. Tommy comes back to the house with some giant Rice Krispies treat. He's like, hey, check out this Rice Krispies treat. I just got it from 7-Eleven. I'm like, oh, dude, sick, man. He rips it open. He starts eating it. And later on that night, we're all kind of, I'm getting hungry. You know, we want some real food. We can't keep eating this Rice Krispies treat. And we go to Del Taco. I think Ivy drove us all to Del Taco one night. And so I was like, man, you paid how much for that Rice Krispies treat? They're like, nah, dude, I paid like $20, $25. The thing was giant. So we go to Del Taco. I'm like, all right, I'm going to pay for some Del Taco. I'm going to buy us some dinner tonight. And this is like, 1 in the morning or whatever. And we get into the Del Taco drive-thru. And so we ordered like all this food. And all of a sudden, I'm thinking, I open my wallet, and they're like, oh, yeah, it's going to be like $22.45. And so I go open my wallet, and my card is not in my wallet. I'm like, what the heck? And then Tommy just pulls my card out of his pocket with a receipt from 7-Eleven that says, like, giant Rice Krispie treat or whatever. And you're like, oh, I don't know how that got in my pocket, bro. You're like, I'm hungry, though. And I was like, I looked at him like, you piece of shit. I couldn't believe it, dude. Like, you straight up just bought a Rice Krispie on my card.
Thanks, bro. I think we had the same wallet.
How did you get my card in your wallet to buy a Rice Krispie treat? And then not tell me, and then expect me to buy dinner? I was just laughing, dude. At the
Fucking
same
Del
time,
Taco is so cheap, dude.
It was
you go
funny.
through the order a bunch of shit. They're just like, that's $6.
Yeah,
what?
but my favorite part was that you left the receipt wrapped around the card.
Thanks, dude.
You're like, here you go, and it was just proof that you bought it on that card. It was all the verification I needed.
That was my bad, dude. That was my bad, and I bought dinner.
Nah, I think I still bought the Del
Thanks,
Taco that
dude.
night.
Good looking out.
That was good times, man. It was just too funny. Like, even then I was laughing. I was like, you bought that Krispy Kreme on my card or Rice Krispie treat on my card?
If you guys ever been to 7-Eleven and seen those huge giant Rice Krispies the size of a whiteboard,
It's huge.
I bought one of those, dude. And that thing was so good.
Dude, that was
I
like,
was like,
it was like a giant piece of drywall.
I love Rice Krispies, and this is a Rice Krispies treat. And what I would like to do right now is eat on this Rice Krispies treat.
That thing was like a big piece of drywall.
It was the size of a table, bro. I got that thing
man.
with your credit card. Thank you very much. Probably took me a good hour to eat it.
I helped.
But yeah, you helped. But dude, I didn't even know they were making them that
It was
big.
fun
That
when
was
you were fat,
pretty
dude, because you used to have like the little Michelobs. Like, they're only 100 calories.
Oh, dude, those commercials sold me, bro.
And then you
They're
drink
like,
15.
Oh wait, they're like, do you like to run? And I'm like, no. Well, only 95 calories and 2.5 grams of carbs with one of these beers. I'm just like, dude, 100 calories, that ain't shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's when you drink 36 of those and you have 3,600 calories.
That would easily happen. I know when I would come over, at least.
Yeah.
You know, 'cause I don't know what it was like when your other buddies were over, but I'd come over and it'd be like, hey, let's just kick it in the koozie and snap back a couple of Michelobs. You know.
I think I was addicted to them because they had a cool can. They're like all slim. You know?
You're like, I want to be like that can.
Yeah, dude, these are sick. They're like 12-ounce Red Bull cans.
Yeah.
You know, I feel up progressive.
They look the
drinking these
exact
things.
same. They didn't even taste that great.
They taste like garbage, dude. Just straight water. Dude, Christmas is coming, man. I was just looking at my calendar here.
You're looking forward to watching
November
the Polar
26th.
Express and the Santa Claus.
Oh my god, dude. Tim
With
Allen,
Tim
Santa
Allen?
Claus.
Yeah. That's right, dude. But he gains all that weight, dude, and Santa Claus falls off the roof and he has to take over, man.
That's so funny.
That's a great movie.
Our
dude.
parents, my dad is so in love with the Polar Express movie. Every time this year, dude. How many times have they played in the house?
Well, it's a Christmas movie, I'll tell you that. And yesterday, we were just cracking jokes about the song, just thinking, well, Christmas is coming, on Black Friday, because it's the next holiday for us. I know it's different if you have Kwanzaa or something. I think, when does Kwanzaa start? The day before Christmas?
I have no idea.
It's crazy, dude. Time flies. I feel like just yesterday, after 23 or 4, I think it was when I moved out for the first time. And I think that was when time the wheels of the clock, if you will, just really started spinning. Now it's like unbelievably fast to where I don't even like to talk about it because yesterday
it's your birthday, Christmas.
It was July
Easter.
11th. Happy Christmas birthday, but
Christmas.
it's too fast, man.
Just open up all your presents at once.
And what I've determined is here's my conclusion is repetition creates this warped time view. You almost have to, like, as you get older, change it up, switch it up, do different things. Mm-hmm. Those experiences will identify where you were at any given time. Whereas if you just keep doing the same shit over and over, it's going to seem faster and faster because you're just thinking, oh, but here we go again. You're not even awake while it's happening.
Dude, that's what happened to me when I turned 30, bro. I was like, I'm doing the same shit. Mm-hmm. I'm working at these different companies. They all promise the same shit. You can make $8,000. Yeah, I'm on that. It's like, okay, nobody's breaking over 3. It's just sales, just the sales cycle in general. Like, it's like 10 years later, I woke up and I'm like, I feel like I'm still like, I'm working paycheck to paycheck. You know, but after I turned 30, I was like, dude, I just gotta try. I gotta change it up, dude. Like, that's what I needed. Like, and this is where like the whole comedian / podcast kind of ideas kind of started flowing, and it's like, man, listen,
there's always a way, bro.
Dude,
you're gonna make ends meet, but there's a way to make it end meet.
I want to pay my bills and shit like that, and work in a cool job. But my passion is people. I want to be out talking to people, like giving shit for people to listen to, like, and be doing me. Like I'm happiest when I'm bringing people to their best. That's something I've always kind of prided myself in. Just if I can make you laugh, I feel good as a person. I don't know.
That's cool though. Well, I mean, what was your biggest inspiration, or who were your biggest inspirations? Who did you really like? And I know that a lot of people that are asked this question, especially with comedians that I've seen, like they weren't necessarily like, they didn't want to identify any one individual. It's always some collective group. So
well, I mean, us
even if I was asked that, and I don't consider myself a comedian, but nor should I. But if I was, I definitely have favorite comedians.
Yeah.
And so so who are yours?
Yeah. There's too many good comedians out there that to name all in one podcast, but we really grown up our whole life listening, seeing, watching, hearing, acting, reacting comedy. And it's like, I would say that's been a huge part of my life. And coming from such a funny family, let me just give you guys an example. So this past Thanksgiving, we kind of have a tradition. Some of our families not really close to us, so they can't join us. So grandma calls, every time. Yeah. We have like a family gathering, and my mom will kind of just pass her around to everybody because she kind of lives far from everybody, can't get out. And it's my turn, so I kind of cruise out of the room on Thanksgiving Day, and I'm like, "Hey, what's up, Grandma?" After my brother serenaded her with songs and all kinds of shit.
You can't run from those phone calls, bro. Because
she's the only one that wanted you to talk. But hold on, just 1 second. So my grandma tells me, she starts going into this political, like, oh, who'd you vote for? Da, da, da. What do you think? And I'm just like, she's like, I was like, yeah, I voted for Trump. And she's just like, oh, yeah, I didn't. And she went into like this.
That's where your conversation went?
No, yeah. Well, hold on.
And you left the room?
No. So she like went into this like this whole talk about like, who she thought should have won and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, okay, Grandma, so what else is new? And I just completely changed the subject on her. And she was like, well, I farted twice today. And I said, what? She's like, I farted twice today.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that's good. Better out than in. And she was like, that's absolutely. And I was like, are you just out there farting? She lives in a home. So I was like, what, are you just farting with your friends over there? And she's just like, yeah, sometimes we have competitions. No. And I'm like, what? Like, who could fart the loudest? Or like, who's the bubbliest? Or she's just like, no, just like how many times you can fart. And I was like, wow.
She's living at Laurie's now, I think. Though.
Now she moved in.
Our aunt,
yeah, now she moved in with our aunt. But she was saying that she used to have competitions with her friends.
She was
at the
farting
place.
up a storm.
I was like, holy shit. You guys are so bored and old. You're like, hey, Beth, that was 3 farts. Ethel, that was 5. I win. Like, what do you win? Like an extra diaper? I'm like,
Yeah, dude. I remember.
that's just funny, though,
a couple years ago. Our
family.
grandmother, she loves Elvis Presley. So I learned a couple of Elvis Presley
She
songs.
claims she kissed him.
Yeah, she does. She does claim that he gave him a big one.
Why you always lying?
Grandma's like, oh, I kissed Elvis Presley and I was this and that. And I said, all right, well, Grandma, I'm going to come there and visit you with Mom and Michelle, and I'm going to come play you some songs on guitar. So I learned a few songs on guitar. And we drove all the way out there. I think it was like Chico or something like that.
Yeah, Chico.
And I'll never forget, they wheeled her out. I think I played her 3 Elvis songs. And it was like...
It's awesome.
Even I was having a hard time doing that. It was like I cried, a little bit. And I was like, man, because you never know. We talked to her. It's been a few years, but it's...
I haven't seen
you
her
gotta
in
find.
so
You need
long.
to drive out there and see her.
Yeah,
'cause I don't know how long it's been for you, but even at
piece
that
of
time, it had been... Because I can keep saying, for the first 18 years of my life, I saw her once at least every 2 weeks. But I'm 28 now. What about that other decade that you had to go up to see her? You got to make time for people that you love.
Yeah, sure.
And so going up there and playing those songs for her, it meant a lot to her, obviously. But even for me, it did. It meant a lot, too, because it just felt good to go out there and see her. But it was funny because she... Even in their 80s, I think that they still have a huge sense of humor.
Mm-hmm.
And there was this other old lady that was with some young guy, and he walked her outside.
Young guy.
And I remember she was like, "Oh, you're gonna love this." And so you see the young guy walking with his hand on her back. He sits her down, and she's like sitting there. She's just wobbling back and forth.
Give me a lap dance, boy.
And then the young person just pulls a cigarette out, shoves it in her mouth, fires it up.
Jesus.
And she's just smoking, just...
Aggressive.
Yeah. And I was thinking, you know what? That person has not given up. They just know that there wasn't that much time left anyway. So they're just kicking it anyway.
That's so funny. Man, we have so many stories about how funny our family is and just story after story and story. And we have so much more prepared for you guys. But we want to thank you guys for listening. And I just kind of want to end this thing and say thank you for the support. Thanks for listening. Thanks for going all the way through with us. And we love you. See you next week. See you next week.